go now. Here we 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 go now.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Falls Play 2021 for the Nepal region, brought to you by the Oppo F19 Pro. Woke up your fun with the Oppo F19 Pro, and also a huge shout out to our media partners. That is going to be Nemo TV, which is the broadcasting partner of PMCO Falls Play 2021. My name is Warren Super Johnny John, joined by Phoenix Devanch right next to alongside with me, and it is going to be super exciting, Phoenix, because Nepal region, one of the most exciting region, is about to begin.
Yeah, and Johnny, we were casting PMNC before this, like 2 days ago. We
Yeah.
were we both were casting a PMNC, and we saw that the teams have a lot of caliber. Now it is PMCO. Let's see what these teams are going to play, like how these teams are going to play today.
I mean, definitely, because as you mentioned, I mean, the recent tournament that we were at, I mean, we did sort of witness a few teams that were playing there, are going to be playing today as well. And along with them, there's going to be a lot of veterans. But we're going to have a look at those teams as soon as, I mean, we have a look at the groups. But let's talk about the tournament, ladies and gentlemen. So we are in the semifinals right now, the round of 32. But the 32 teams have been divided into 4 groups. Each group will contain 8 teams, and these groups will play 12 matches each. So there's going to be 4 matches happening every single day for the next 6 days. And after that, the top 15 teams will be moving forward to the finals. We have one team that has already been invited to the finals. That is going to be Skylight Gaming, and they're going to be waiting for the next 15 contenders to actually show their faces. And in the finals, there's just going to be those 16 matches. And what's on the line? It's $29,200.
Up $29,200. If you're going to finish at the first place, you will get $3,600 as well as you will get a ticket for the PMPL Season 4. And if you're going to finish at the second place, you get $2,000. Third place, you get $1,500. Then prices drop down as you rank on the lead. But the important part is, Johnny, group stage, every single team will get $300.
Well, definitely, as you mentioned, those $300 are going to be super important because, I mean, it is sort of an incentive for the players to actually just try and make sure that this experience helps them out in the next journey as well.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure these lads have that competitive spirit in them. Even though there is $300 just for being in the group stages, they want to make sure they move to the finals and then to the PMPL. But in order to do that, in order to earn that money, in order to move to the finals, to move to PMPL, you have to earn points in every single match that you play. We have talked about this point structure for ages at this point, so I believe everyone knows what we're going to say, how important those skill points, how important it is to be consistent. So let's just skip all that and just talk about the team. So Phoenix, I'll let you take over Group A.
Yep, we have JyanMaara, DE GANGSTERS, Hype and Red Esports, and YM Esports SOLTI squad, Frozen Phoenix, Leader ES in Group A. So, in Group A, we have some of the best team from the Nepal region, and SOLTI squad, one of the oldest team in the Nepal region as well. But let's talk about the Group B. Let's talk about the squad roster of Group B. We have 2RGR, GM Esports, Xtreme Outlaws, Team Cops, Team Huddle. So Team Cops, this is the OG lineup. Let's see how they are going to perform today. But GURKHABATTALION 5, My Nation Esports, Hoody Esports, and AsOne Unity, they are also in the Group B.
I mean, you're going to talk about OGs. Battalion 5 is also one of those teams that we have seen for a while now, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how this team is going to have sort of what's start they're going to have in these matches today. And talking about the matches, as we mentioned during the tournament explainer, tournament, we're just going to have 4 matches every single day for the next 6 days. That's going to be the semi-finals, and once we move to the finals, it's just going to be 4 matches for 4 days. So the schedule was in front of us. Erangel, the first game, then we have Miramar, Sanhok, and then the last game, Erangel once again.
So you have to wrangle for the day, and if you're gonna, get what if any team secured its second dinner and then in the first wrangle, then it might possible they're gonna repeat the history in the fourth wrangle, in the second wrangle too, which is going to be the fourth map. But this is PMC, as I just mentioned. Only 15 teams will qualify for the finals, and you have only 12 matches. So the numbers are quite less, but the chances are still high.
Exactly. I mean, the number of matches that you're going to play, as you mentioned, that is quite critical. Just 12 matches that you have to play, and you have to be really, really consistent in those 12 matches. I believe if you finish outside the top 3 in more than 4 games, then you're going to be in a world of trouble, and it's going to be very tricky for you to find yourself in the top 15. Because out of 32, let's talk about this. Out of 32, only 15 teams will be moving forward. So like more than 50% of the competition already getting wiped out in a blink, just like Thanos did with the snap right there. But it is going to be really interesting to see. I mean, I remember having this conversation earlier on in the day with a colleague of ours. Like every single time the PUBG Mobile Club Open comes around, we do get to see the new blood, the new talent from the region sort of rising up to the challenge, and that is something that we always like to keep an eye on. A new set of players, a new team, a new face, just shining in every single game that they play or on the overall leaderboard and just moving to the next stages. And in the future, it becomes really exciting to watch every single time you see that new team pop up. So over here as well, we're going to try and see which that new team, new set of players are going to be. Although there are a couple of teams that I want to say are going to be starting off with a really strong momentum already.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we did see them quite recently. When I say quite recently, I mean day before yesterday is when we saw them last. And JyanMaara are just incredible right now.
Well, and as you just mentioned about JyanMaara, they finished at the second position in the PMNC. So yeah, they all are just warmed up and they are ready for this PMC. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's see how they are going to perform. But the important part is in the PMNC, they secured second position with total 260 points. It's not that easy because they were up against the team Raw official and they were literally dominating. There was a time when we were literally thinking that it is going to be a photo finish because the point difference was almost zero. Both the teams had like similar point, but at the end it was like the over aggression from the side of JyanMaara.
Yeah.
That's why it just cost them a little bit
That-
lot, and they finished at the
that-
second position. Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to say. Like JyanMaara, they messed things up for themselves. I mean, it was a little bit of an overconfidence, I would say, right there, where they like
Yeah.
tried to challenge Raw official on their own drops, and that's how things got messed up for them. But I believe that was just an experiment for JyanMaara. They still walked away with quite a hefty amount of cash from that tournament, and as I mentioned, a huge build up in morale, in momentum for the team. The lads are definitely going to be feeling quite confident with themselves, with their skills, with their play style, and with how they want to take the challenge in the lobby. That is going to
Show
continue
शुरू
to
हुआ है
them
कोई
in the
यो
lobby
प्लेन
right now.
बैटलाइज
But talking about the lobby and talking about the challenges, game number one, ladies and gentlemen, of PMCO PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2021 is live. The match on Erangel, the trajectory of the plane starting from Nova Epnoy and going all the way towards the Georgia Pole area.
Yep, and teams like JyanMaara as well as Hoody Squad and Team Hype, they're quite happy with this drop location because you can go to Nova Epnoy, military base, Teripir, and even Kori, Gutka, Hospital Ruins, Pushinki, School, Rozak. These are the areas which are still glidable. But the important part is some of the teams. They are just playing this PMCU for like after so long, and I have high expectations from these teams like Team Corps, Teams Huddle, Xtreme Outlaws, how these teams are going to play today. Let's see. The first map is in front of us, and teams are already dropping down, and JyanMaara is just moving towards their favorite drop location, military area.
Well, let's see. I mean, JyanMaara, as you mentioned, heading towards the military area. I believe this is one of those teams that actually prefers if the circle does form on the northern side because that allows them to be really, really flexible with how they play. But in the meanwhile, I mean, we have to see if there's going to be another squad that's going to be contesting their rotation. On the other side, JyanMaara, they do have neighbors with them. They're not alone on that military island. Towards the side of Nova Repnoy, we have the squad of cops. Now, Rana, Black, Spicer, Maski G, we've seen this squad as well in the recent days, and they are really, really phenomenal. This squad is one of those teams that you have to keep your eyes peeled out on. But talking about the circle, it looks like it's going to head towards the mansion Yasnaya Poliana area, and that I mean it is going to cause trouble for a lot of teams because right now I believe only 50% of the teams are inside the circle, rest of them are outside. GR Battalion 5. We see them moving towards the side of Zarki, where they do have the squad of Easy quite close to them. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how that entire fight is actually going to turn out.
I'm waiting for that too, but look at that, Zerky. They'll find a vehicle, I think so, and then then they'll start moving towards the Severny area. So the journey is going to be like quite easy if any team decide to, to contest that same area. Then it is going to be a little bit difficult. But let's see. seems like we can say that QRGR, they just drop down near the Milta area and they will be, I think so, they'll just gonna bridge scam that Nova Reply bridge because that is going to be a more viable option because two teams are still in the military base. Cops and JyanMaara are one of the best contenders. And as we were mentioning about that JyanMaara, again, they are the best right now and they are looking for that first position. They need that PMPL, ticket so that they can play in the PMPL season 4. But at the team side, we can see that Swati scored in the Pochinki area, and they'll be happy with that draw because you will get good amount of loot in that Pochinki.
Well, as you said, I mean, Pochinki, definitely, if you are able to control the entire city all alone, then the amount of loot that you get from that area is definitely something that can give a lot of advantage to the team in the early stages. But let's see. JyanMaara on the other side in the military base. Again, another wonderful position for them. But based on where the circle is and how the teams have dropped out, I do expect a slow early game in a situation like this. Also, a troublesome situation for JyanMaara is only the fact that they have to rotate 1,200 meters to get inside the circle. And it is going to be quite interesting to see how, in fact, they're going to do that because we do have two more teams that have landed quite close to the military bridge, and if they try and go to from the Nova Reply bridge, they will have to take a fight against cops, and it's not going to be an easy fight. But towards the side of Georgia Pole Hospital, we have Georgia Pole City under the control of the squad of Hype, and we have another team taking control of the hospital area for themselves.
Yeah, two of the teams are pretty close to each other. One team is just sitting in the Liverpool city. But Team Hype, as we were just mentioning about Ryu, we can see that Ryu he's in the vicinity and he's one of the oldest players for Team Hype. And let's see how this player will lead his team to the victory. And we have Shanks as well in the team, and some of the players from way out Satan. They are also playing the lineup of Hype. So I have high expectations because we saw the team way out Satan. They secured the chicken in the final match of the PMNC. I think so that was the second last match. And after that particular match, they were at the 10th position. So yeah, that's a good thing for them. And now they're playing in the PMCO. But let's again talk about the team JyanMaara, as I was just mentioning about that they are pretty far away from the safe zone. They have to focus on those early rotation. But the squad, they have Susan from Raw, who was playing from the side of Raw and PMNC, and he was top fragger. So I expect the same from him this PMC.
Well, let's see. I mean, we do expect the same happening from the squad, but it is going to be quite interesting to see if this fight is actually going to break out right now in front of us. As Manny is taking a few shots from the rear as well. One of the lads, Hell, has been knocked out. Manny just trying to smoke and cover himself up around the tree. We have SOLTI squad is absolutely dominating in this fight. Oh, Gordon almost messing up the kill. Had to stop absolutely. Now they're gonna move on and cross over the rest of the lads from the side of YM Esports. SOLTI squad is absolutely dominating this fight. George moving in. Manny dishing out the damage. Is gonna find an opening, but that's not gonna be enough. Jordan from the backline just gonna get the finish right there. SOLTI squad still sitting in the man advantage. In fact, a really big advantage for themselves as YM are down to their last player. And this fight for the Potato Hill has gone completely in the favor of SOLTI squad.
And we can see that this type of experience they are showcasing Team SOLTI. Right, Pratik is the oldest player, and he won the backline, just providing a lot of cover to his teammates. Kudos to Jordan because he was the first person to secure that first blood for his team. Then we have Nemesis, he was also there for the cover fire. But I am happy that this squad secured 3 kills in a very early stage, Johnny. And now YM Esports, only one single player, Yeta Uta, is surviving from the side of one particular team. So they are on the verge of elimination, but at this moment, they are safe.
Well, I mean, they are going to be safe for a while. There's just one lad out of. I don't know how far into the game he's going to be able to get his team, but now it's just fighting for those survival points. So, well, not fighting to get those survival points. In fact. for YM Esports, because the moment he tries to take a duel, he is putting a lot at risk. I mean, the first game, the momentum is going to be completely lost. And as we've talked about the fact that there are not many matches that these lads are going to play, so it is going to be quite interesting to see what the approach is going to look like right now. But on the other side, we do have the players from the side of Team Huddle having taken control of the city of Yasnaya Poliana will definitely have an advantage during the mid-game stages since they won't be contested for a while.
And you know what? That one particular building in the Isnaya, which is the prison in the Isnaya, you will have that height advantage. If you're going to utilize that perfectly, then it's possible that you're going to secure a lot of kills in the first stage of the match. Now, GE Gangsters. This is the team, and we would love to talk about because we have blah blah blah. He was playing in Team 2K, and he will be the best person. If you got stuck in a 1v1 against this particular player, then trust me, you're dead because he is so good in those 1v1 duels. Now, we have the other players too, like Wadu. He was a season 1 and season 2 player of PMP. He played that season 1 and season 2 from the side of Deadeye guys, and so he has a lot of experience, and I'm sure he's just going to showcase that in this particular PMC because it takes 12 games, and those 12 chances will decide that you're going to lead to the finals or not.
Well. I mean, it is going to be about getting to the finals. But look at this. One thing that's getting right here inside the game, it is going to be the first airdrop, and it is going to be bringing along with it the MG3. Now, these rotations look quite interesting because look at this. So, JyanMaara, they find themselves in a really comfortable position, or well, it looks quite uncomfortable right now since they will have to deal with the players of SOLTI squad moving forward. On the other side, Cops will have a really wonderful time entering inside the circle. I mean, the squad of two RGR, they're going to keep moving forward. If they can somehow manage to dodge the players from the side of leaders and keep moving east, then Cops will have an edge control like no other team. They will just have to deal with a little bit of aggression from the side of west, from the western side. But even that is going to be from a position from where they can easily disengage.
But look at that, western side of the circle, right near the 7 area. Three squads are there, but George was waiting for too long and he missed this opportunity. That was a close call. He might secure one kill, and now that's not going to be good because that was his moment. Now, important part is after this information, Hive will start moving inside the circle because we can see that Ryu is pretty far away from the pack, so as the team, and they are moving towards that three compounds, those four pink buildings, and in that Sigourney area, that's the best place to hide in until and this zone is a little bit far away. Now, zone Team Hype, they continue in their journey. This is the second zone. It will start closing in after seconds, and then we'll let you know that where the third zone is going to form.
Well, let's see where the third zone is going to be. It is going to be quite interesting. I mean, it has been happening throughout the day, though, and I have to bring this up, Phoenix. Throughout the day, no matter which region we go to, the circle has been making those hardships, and it has been phenomenal. It has been super fun to watch the matches. You go towards South Asia wildcard, you go towards wildcard, and towards Nepal as well. It has been really amusing circles that we've had, and it looks like we might just be heading towards that urban warfare situation. And so the squad now find themselves in control of some sections of Yasna Poliana. These apartments are definitely going to be high priority because if you get yourself to an elevation, if you get yourself to the top floor, you might just be able to clean out the farms from the southern side as well. But you have to be extremely careful because if you get charged upon, then you're going to be in so much trouble if you get control of your building. You can't let anyone enter into your side.
Oh yes, as you just mentioned about the Salty squad, they are holding this triple apartments in the Isnaya area, and you can have a lot of control of this Isnaya. Pratik spotted out the players of the edge. He fired some shots, he fired some bullets, but he would collect a single one, and now he's just backing off. But he has information of about at least two players. That two players are inside the cruiser building, but yeah, the whole squad is just. Staying inside that one particular building. AsOne Unity, they are present towards Salvo area, but on the other side have control of this particular compound. So as Akash, oh, the team has a perfect combination TP28 M416 as well as UMP again the meta combination. But how they gonna utilize it and how much long they can survive by using this combination is going to be a question.
Well, let's see. I mean, the questions are definitely going to be answered in a few moments, but it is going to be quite interesting to see what the approach is going to look like. Because now, I mean, based on where as Unity were, they were definitely going to be quite in the open, and it is going to be quite interesting to see what the approach is going to look like for the team. I mean, during the later stages of the game, but 12 minutes in, and we haven't had more than one fight inside the game. Now, that is something that I find really interesting.
Teams are playing a little bit passive right now, but look at that. Susan, he got knocked out in an open area. Commit just going to confirm the kill of Snipe White. And Susan on the boards of elimination. Using his BP28 perfectly. In fact, confirmed one kill and knocked out another. Corporate on the other side, he was on the receiving end. He goes down, but I think the survivor is going to be there. But I don't think so. That's not the case for Susan because his vehicle got burned down, and the players from Xtreme Outlaws slowly and steadily moving into woods. Hey man, look at that. This type of start, JyanMaara never expected that they're gonna got penciled down in a very, very peculiar spot, and now they lost two players. Very, we just hit the 14-minute mark, and JyanMaara lost two players.
Well. I mean, this was something that we did not expect, and I mean, I did in fact sort of call it out. Like JyanMaara, they were definitely going to have some trouble with the teams that were quite ahead of them. But two players getting taken out, that's a massive hit for the squad. But I believe the next is going to come for the players of Hype, as we have Zord on our screen, and along with he does have his teammate as well. But the rest of the lads, look at the radar. They have gone for a 2-2 split. That can actually backfire from this position. But BX finding an opening on the other side, that means they are going to be caught completely unaware, and that is what exactly Hype are doing right now, just charging on an unsuspecting set of lads. BX has already one lad down. Arrow running out the side. A7 is going to be finished off. Akshat in the backline is going to be tackled next, and there it is. Hype just cleaning these compounds up.
This team secure 2 kills, and this is perfect because Zod, he was the top fragger from the side of way outside, and now from the side of Hype, he was just doing the same thing. But Drew, he was the person who secured the first kill. Look at that, Frozen Phoenix. This is the first team who takes an exit in the first match of PMCO Nepal. A bad start for them, but you still have 3 games left for the day. You can still secure 3 single dinners in a row if you want to. Basically. SOLTI squad on the other side, they just want to do a third party. They are just engaging in a fight, and one player, in fact, 2 players got knocked out. Jordan and
Well. I mean, let's see, 2 players getting knocked out. One has been finished off. Dolph has been taken out, and I believe Jordan is going out as well, just bleeding out and dying out in the open. But leader Ale is going to be needing a revive right now. Zorax is keeping an eye, making sure that his teammates don't get into any more trouble. And it is going to be quite interesting to see what the next challenge for the squad is going to look like. But in the meanwhile, YM Esports, last player is going to be caught off guard and finished off. So tried to survive for so long, but still getting an exit on the 15th position. But look at this. This is what I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen. The northwestern shift of the set. Completely out in the open. Everyone is caught off guard.
And you know what? The teams who were holding that Gasnaya area, now they are just move inside the circle as soon as possible because this is an open circle. Now, we have those 3 to 4 buildings inside the circle, but still it is going to be a gamble for you. It might cost you that AsOne Unity. Saitama spotted 2 players. What? He was firing some bullets, then he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So as a thought, but no! That first down vehicle, he literally burned out one vehicle and eliminated the whole team.
Well, the whole team getting taken out in an instant, but AsOne Unity now moving forward. Let's see if they're going to be able to find themselves some cover. Well, they have a few compounds in there close to the players of Corps.
Oh, no.
Quite close to them. Masky G completely caught off guard by Mr. Panda, but now the damage is coming in from the flank. The rest of the lads from the side of Bad Cops, I'm sorry, just trying to see if they can sort of help their teammate out, or in fact, get a trade going, as Masky G has been finished off already. But AsOne Unity, they're going to start moving forward, find a position deep inside the circle from where they won't have to rotate for a while. In the meanwhile, on towards the northeastern side, we have the players of DE GANGSTERS now taking up a fight against Battalion 5. And it is going to be quite an interesting situation since it looks like Battalion 5 are right now distracted with the lads rotating in from the backside.
Yep, totally with that point. But on Troy, now, after this information, he can focus on that one particular fight as well as they will start moving inside the two. They lost one player, so he's just going to play with the team in lineup for now. But look at that. The zone rotation is not going to be an easy task. But on Troy, spots down one player of Hype. It was George, knocked him down, and he needs a revival. It's pretty far away. On the straight, Saga spots down another player, trying to some bullets, and yep, he connected some, but Saga spots down another, and Cops, they are in a bit of trouble because they lost another player in a different angle.
Well, let's see. I mean, they're going to be caught off guard completely. Cops in a really bad situation, but now Hypes, they might just be falling down to the players of Battalion 5. One opening has been found by these lads, but look at this. Now the stars coming in. Sagun in the backlines is finally going to be taken down. One more player hiding inside the smoke is going to be shot at. Spam that, in fact. 3v1 situation. Zor taking a lot of damage is going to be taken down, but Hype, did they just mess it up?
No!
Two players getting taken out. So down to 1v1 on Fry. Somehow managing to clutch this entire fight out. Firstly, but from the back lines is going to take a damage. And wow, Battalion 5, that was definitely a valiant effort from the lad, but still getting taken out from the players of OG out of all things. Wow.
Alfred, at least he was so confident that that was a 1v3, but at the end he got punished from a different angle. Look at that. Now we can see Psycho. He was lobbing some raids on top of the players of Xtreme, but they are still surviving. They are still surviving with the zone rotation. They are. It is going to be very, very important for both the teams because after 30 seconds, the fifth zone will start closing in, and you're going to receive a lot of damage from the blue zone if you can stay inside that. But oh, look at that. Psycho spots out Yaxo. He does have a lot of damage onto him. He's barely surviving on 5% HP. Now he goes down by a grenade of John Hype. Pins it down Waxo. Now, Xtreme, they got stuck. Xtreme Outlaws, they got stuck between two teams and basically they got sandwiched, but still, they are still surviving. So that's the best point for them.
And that is definitely going to be something that the team can rely on. But in the meanwhile, EXO, they have lost one of their own players. It is going to be a troublesome situation for them to find a rotation inside the circle since Hype, they have control of the high ground. JyanMaara is controlling the center right now. Even with just 3 players left, JyanMaara can look pretty deadly. But Nation Esports still trying to move forward. 3-man lineup. Hype in some trouble as DG are going to be closing in from the backlines. And GANGSTER getting the finish on Jord. Zod along with his team A from the backlines. But now the smokes are going to be deployed just close to this watchtower. And the players of the GANGSTERS, they are going to look to regroup amongst themselves. In the meanwhile, Xtreme Outlaws getting eliminated on the 11th position. JyanMaara taking the fight against the players of PH. A nade is going to get a knock on the players of SOLTI. SOLTI, I believe, down to just that one last player. And Gunner is trying to find the finish, going for a Molotov right here. Trying to force the player on the other side, but Gunner needs to be extremely careful. This man has looked incredible in the recent days, but let's see. This is a 2 versus 1 situation currently in this compound. Sudan with a nade. This looks quite precise. That would be the thing that opens things up or in fact closes them. And I believe the damage has been dished out. But in the meanwhile, just trying to come down from the slope is going to look really deadly for the players of Red as Zorax is going to be taken down. But Gunner just taking the kill away from the players of Red is just going to make them regret not going for the finish instantly. Now, leaders, I believe, just down to one last player in a 1v4 situation.
This is not good for them, but right now, Red, they are still exposed from different angle, and that was I was talking about. Susan spots down one and finished him instantly. Now, Red on the other side, they just brought down only 3 players, but still, Susan doing a lot of job for his team. Beard on the other side, he goes down by Gunner. JyanMaara, they are looking unstoppable. Look at that. Susan's fighting some random shots, and yeah, this is going to be their favor. Easy from the different side, from a different area. They're also showcasing their dominance. 6 kills on the 30. JyanMaara not that far behind. 8 kills. This team is looking phenomenal. But Susan, he has that startle. again, tried some random shot inside that smoke, but he has to be careful from the back lines because there's another team slowly and steadily closing in the distance.
Well, from the backlines, a lot of teams are closing in, but right now it is going to be about that eastern edge. Will the teams be able to contest that position? That is going to be quite critical. On the western side, GyanMaara, they're going to have a much easier time. There's just one compound that they have to control, and the rest of the teams are going to be spotted out in the open. A little bit of aggression or threat is going to loom over them from the mountains in the backlines, or, well, to be a little bit more precise, right in front of them because the mountains are up north. But still, it is a squad like GyanMaara. It should be something that they're well aware of. But in the meanwhile, I mean, Crops just doing a phenomenal job getting 2 knocks for themselves. We do have Spicer moving in. It is going to be a fight that is going to be quite tricky for them. But now Rana is going to be here as well. And they have, in fact, just pushed their opponents down inside a corner. One good grenade, and that is going to be the whole team getting wiped out in just a blink. But no, Spy, he tried to take a fight somewhere else, and now he is getting punished, getting knocked out in the open.
BG is the reason why Cops they got that one single player Spy, he just got knocked out. But Susan from a different angle, look at that. How many kills does this man secured? And my Nation Esports, they got eliminated at the 8th position. But the good thing is they have those 7 total points onto their name. Now, Cops again brought down to the 2 players. They have the height advantage. They are inside the circle. But look at that. Rana, that was a risky jump. But on the other side, again, Gunner. Now they are up against the players of DG. So this is going to be an interesting fight. Susan spots down Sane of Reds. Is going to knock him off. It is Carl. Rana, again, with his M416 spots. Tried his level best to spot on one player. But from the sideline, he got punished from the side of the players of Leader.
Well, let's see. There's definitely going to be quite a risky move. But we do have sort of a 1v4 situation right now with Leader just charging forward. All right, it was down to 1v1. He's going to be able to secure that finish, and now it is 1 versus 3 on the low lines. Bad Cops taking an exit on the 6th position, down to 5 teams, 13 players alive. JyanMaara with 3, the DE GANGSTERS with 3, Y with all 4 players, Red down to just 2, and Leader with just 1 player. Singbo, the last player he's just gonna try and see if he can get this ball for himself. In the meanwhile, Gunner just doing Gunner things, going on a rampage. 5 kills have been secured by that individual, and the team as a whole has 15 kills already. The squad is in the top 5 with 15 kills, and this is the JyanMaara that everyone wanted to see. I mean, everyone had everyone was quite sure that this team was going to deliver on the expectations that were there from the fans, and now they are definitely living up to all the hype. But in the meanwhile, ACY, they are going to be stuck outside the circle, but not completely outside, quite close to the edge, and the only team that's going to be standing in their way are going to be the players of Red. In the meanwhile, JyanMaara in the distance are dealing with the players of DE GANGSTERS, and Wadu is going to be the last player surviving for the squad. We do have Ashrit just going for those nades. A lot of damage has been dished out, and now finally HDY, they're going to start to move in, but JyanMaara no fear, just having absolutely no fear in his eyes, just keeping his crosshair perfectly placed on towards Wadu, who's slowly and steadily bleeding out, and there he goes. DE GANGSTERS out of the picture, so we're down to top 4. JyanMaara in some trouble as Jan has been taken down. In the meanwhile, Red, they're going to take a little bit of damage. Or in fact, just completely get eliminated. It is all of a sudden down to 2 teams. 2 versus 3 are the numbers. Make it a 2v2 situation as no fear, and Gunner are still going to be surviving. HDY Clown, he has to go for a revive on his teammate or just try and attempt to make it happen, as Arshad is going to be finished off. In the meanwhile, Daju is getting a revive in the backlines, but Gunner is quite close. Clown has to make sure that he is going to be pulling the attention of the players of JyanMaara away from his teammates, because, well, Daju is going to be quite low, and Lollipop on the backside, he is actually, in fact, going for a flank. Let's see. AZY, quite an interesting trident approach right here. 1 player in the center, 2 on either side. On the other side, JyanMaara, both the players just being lined up next to each other. No fear taking a lot of damage. In fact, getting knocked out. Now it's just down to Gunner. 1 versus 3 situation as his teammate is going to get finished off. And the players of HDY, they're feeling quite comfortable. They're feeling hungry for this chicken dinner as they run forward, trying to look for Gunner inside those smoke. but Gunner, he's not going to make this as easy as they think. Finding the first opening, he's going to be down to 50% HP. Now Lollipop and the other lads from the side of HBY, they're definitely going to be feeling a lot of pressure, but that is not going to matter as the match comes to an end. And well, JyanMaara, they might have missed out on that chicken dinner, but I want to see how many kills they got in total, because at the end of the day, points are all that matter.
Points are all that matters, and you know what, if you have the highest amount of skill points, then you might lead the overall ranking. And we can see that team start Hoody Esports, they secured the chicken dinner, 6 kills onto their name, total 21 points, they dished out 1581 damage. Now, their overall ranking is second, so now the thing is, we are sure that JyanMaara are going to be at the first, but let's wait for the match ranking. But this match was heavily on the side of JyanMaara, because 15 kills in the first match of the day. It seems like it is impossible, but not for JyanMaara.
Well, let's see. I mean, what is going to happen? But Hoody, definitely an impressive performance right here. The 6 kills that was secured. I would say that the most impressive fight that they showed was against the players of Cops, but that also sort of was because of the fact that Cops messed up. There was absolutely no reason for them to actually engage in a fight against the teams that already had concrete cover for themselves. They could have just easily stayed back on the back lines of those that small little cliff that was their corner of the rock, and they just low tossed a couple of names towards the players of Hoody. But we do have the MVP in front of us, and it is going to be no fear from the squad of JyanMaara Esports. 8 kills secured, 821 damage, so quite efficient right there. Survival time of 25 minutes 50 seconds. Assist is just 2, so contributed to 10 kills that his team got, and just 82 healing done. Did I see that right?
Yep, just 82, and I'm not surprised. Now, if we talk about the top players, it is going to be Gunner and AsOne. Obviously, they are at the second and third position. No fear, he was the MVP. But we have leader Singbo. This man was crazy because he was surviving till the last, and he secured 2 kills. And look at that, he dished out 982 damage. But Gunner, I think so that we just saw that no fear, he gave 2 assists to his teammates, and it is going to be Gunner because he just dished out only 339 damage and he secured 5 kills.
I mean, hey, it's not going to matter, right?
Yeah.
It was all the players of JyanMaara sitting in the top 3. Well, the 3 players that survived, in fact, and all those 3 players did a phenomenal job. We did see Snipe YT go down quite early in the game. I wonder if Snipe had been alive in the late game stages, what the situation would have been like for JyanMaara. I'm pretty sure they would have just walked away with this chicken dinner. But looking at the match summary, no fear with the highest kills. Although the highest damage that was dished out was by Gunner with 1,024. We do have the longest skill right here with 250. That was coming from the team X. So Saint from Red Esports having the most utilities used 23, and Hype Zord with max assist just 3. So overall, an incredible performance. Love the way the circle was moving around inside of the game, starting with the first east, and then again moving towards the northeast, and then towards the west side. Or towards the northwest side of Yasna, in fact, out in the open. And it was quite incredible to see how the teams, in fact, rose up to the challenge, especially JyanMaara. Again, I mean, you can't say enough about this team inside this game, because they started their journey all the way from the military island, and then the military base, getting inside the top 2, challenging the circles. It was quite a ride for them, quite a big journey. But looking at the standings, the match ranking, 30 points to JyanMaara with those 18 kills that they got. And then we have Hoody Esports, the team that walked away with the chicken dinner with just 21 points.
And on third position, we have Leader Esports with 14 total points. But I'm happy with the performance from the side of my Nation Esports. They are at the 6th position, but look at that, 7 kill points. So that's the most important thing. They have total 8 points in their favor. Team Hype at the 7th position with total 7 points onto their name. Team Cops at the 8th, total 5 total points. But the important part is, this is the first match, and now we're just heading towards the second match, and it's going to be Sanhok. Let's see if JyanMaara will continue their aggression, or teams like SOLTI or Cops or Team Xtreme Outlaws, they will somehow manage to shut them down. But we have the second page of the match ranking. SOLTI scored at the 9th position with 4. Team Huddle, Xtreme Outlaws, and AsOne Unity, these 3 teams have the same amount of total points. It's 2.
Well, I mean, but overall, on the other side, talking about teams at the bottom, YM Esports, the fight that was forced against them, it was quite interesting because YM Esports, it looked like they had no intention of just. This is the fight that I'm talking about against the players of SOLTI squad. Had they engaged in a little bit earlier, had they been the aggressors instead of just waiting for the players of SOLTI squad to make all the moves, they could have actually come out on top. The SOLTI squad was also in a 3-1 split, and if they lost out one player, both the flankers were engaging, and you lost one player, at least you can just try and recover
Yeah.
the fight against the three individuals that are charging on you in the next couple of seconds. It did in fact happen, and one was eliminated. But looking at the Oppo F19 moments, few more moments to look out for, are definitely going to be what happened with the players of Red Esports. So there's one moment you look at them, look quite nice, quite comfortable, and the next moment the team is down to just two players.
Just because of the height disadvantage, as well as they were out in an open, and JyanMaara, they can spot them down very easily. Just because of that, they were struggling to stay alive till the end. But this was the
Yeah.
final fight. Hoody Esports just secured that second dinner. But to be honest, Johnny, Snipe Whitey, he got eliminated at the first position. There was a time when Susan was bleeding out, and
Yeah.
literally predicted that it's going to be a two. Now, only two players will be surviving till the end, but that was not the case. Susan survived till the end. The revival was being executed, and that's why they secure 80. Because had he had just Snipe Whitey, if he was if he was alive till the end, it would have been more than 20 kills. But the important part is they are at the first position.
I mean, who knows what could have happened as if Snipe would have stayed alive till the late game stages, and what if Sujan actually got finished off in the early
Oh
stages as
yeah.
well? I mean, maybe JyanMaara would have not even made it to the top two quite an early as I mentioned. I mean, even those 18 kills would not have been there, but. I mean, this was just the first game. Things are definitely uh, getting started at a really, really high note, but we still have three more matches to go for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Before we move to the next one, we're going to take a very short break. So just stay tuned, keep watching. We'll be right back after this.
I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, welcome back to PUBG Mobile Club Open 2021, brought to you by the Oppo F19 Pro. Woke up your fun with the Oppo F19 Pro. This is Super Johnny, joined by Phoenix Silvanch. And today is the first day, ladies and gentlemen, of the group stages. And match number one is over. We're going to be jumping into the action of match number two. That is going to be the map of Miramar. And it's going to be super exciting to watch. The first game was quite intense with JyanMaara getting 18 kills but failing to get that chicken dinner sitting on the second position. But the chicken dinner was in fact picked up by Hoody Esports. Now, moving on to Miramar, it's going to be really hard to predict what the game is going to look like because there are a lot of teams like that were looking quite good. Cops was one of them. Red Esports was there. Leaders were looking quite good as well, even though they lost the player advantage. They were able to pick up a few decent kills and placement points as well.
And you know what, Aziz is mentioning about some of the squads who have been so consistent, but teams like 2RGR, they have some of the best players from the Nepal region. Let's take an example of GURKHAxBATTALION. He has been played for Kira Peaceflow as well as for PWP Esports as well. So he has a lot of experience, but he has to showcase that experience in this map, basically in the PMCO. Now, JyanMaara, they secured massive number of kills in the previous match, and I'm sure they're gonna, replicate the same thing in the Miramar map too. They just want to do the same thing. But if we talk about the plane part, it starts from the portal Parisa and just heading towards the western side of El Pozo again. We were mentioning about this thing, Johnny, that today the circles, the zones, it was amazing.
Well, the circles have been amazing, and as I said, I mean, they have been amazing not just in one particular region, but all throughout the PMCOs. I mean, again, listen, not all the regions. We had wildcard, South Asia wildcard, phenomenal games, and even in Nepal, we're witnessing the hard shifts of the circle that we had on Erangel. I hope we get to see the same sort of a situation on Miramar, but let's see. Early game, it is definitely going to be quite slow. We do have two teams sort of dropping quite close to the city of Los Leones, but the squad from the side of XO is actually, in fact, landing on the northern and northeastern outskirts of the city and going for a four-man split, in fact. So they're not going to try and inject hype in any way. In the meanwhile, the players from the side of Cops, having taken control of the city of Impala for themselves, MYM already heading towards Puerto Paracio. So everyone is quite comfortable with where they are dropping out.
Yeah, and you know what? If talking about the comfortable drop location, I'm literally happy with the players of Hype because now they just drop down near the Los Leones area, and we all know this is the biggest city in the PUBG Mobile, and they'll find some good amount of loot out there. But Saga from the side of EG secured the first kills and secured the first kill, and Red. Now they just lost their one player in a very early stage of the match. We can see that Brook is inside that one billboard building, and he'll find some decent loot out there. But the important part is he has to face two players. In fact, a whole squad if DG decided to just rush towards him. But it's not going to be that easy as we expected because we can see some players of Red Esports present on the sidelines, and it seems like that Hype, as well as JyanMaara, basically, they are also in the same frame.
Well, I mean, it's going to be quite interesting to see what exactly this fight is going to look like. As I mean, DE GANGSTERS for now, since blah blah blah, his HP was dropped quite low. The players are being careful, but still they outnumber the individual from the side of Red that they want to take on. As you mentioned, JyanMaara, they are just on the outskirts of the city of San Martin as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see if there is going to be an opportunity for a third party. But Snipe needs to be careful.
Yeah.
He's quite exposed. And the players of TE GANGSTERS, they have the high ground advantage as well. So even from a distance, I mean, distances are quite notorious on this map. So from the distance, he might just get taken out.
Yeah.
But let's see how this fight is going to progress. In the meanwhile, though, Red Esports, they're going to try and see if they can find more loot for themselves because, I mean, they will definitely need it quite a lot.
They certainly will because they, in fact, they lost some players. But right now, we saw the two players from the Red Esports. They have that SMGs and Sane on the other side. We can see the kill confirmation already been there, but Snipe White, he's spots down Wadu, knocks him down. Stark also, he's the person who spots down Snipe Whitey. But look at that, how fast he is. Maybe he's just using a vehicle so that he can just close in the distance. But this is not again good for DG because now they were in a good position. They secured one kill, but now the player Snipe Whitey, he's the IGL of the team. And he is just making sure that at least he can secure some amount of points. And he knocked out one player. Now, JyanMaara, look at that. Where are the other three players? We can see that Susan, he's also there to at least to provide some cover fire. But Gangster, he spots Snipe Whitey down. He just out a lot of damage onto him, but unable to knock him down.
Well, let's see. I mean, it is going to be quite interesting to see how the fight is going to progress. DG and Red both have lost one of their individuals. Snipe finding another opening is going to knock out Brooks, but that is going to be a kill that DE GANGSTERS might be able to pick for themselves. But no, they are backing off JyanMaara with a really, really big advantage for themselves. But even JyanMaara, the split coming in from
wow.
nowhere, it's going to be really interesting. But Gangster from DE GANGSTERS just knocking down Snipe White. He might just be the thing that keeps JyanMaara at bay. That one knock might just delay them enough, not allowing them to push for a few more seconds, allowing the GANGSTERS to deal with the players of Red. But Brook has been revived. So it is going to be back to a 3-3 situation with a possibility of a third party from the side of JyanMaara. And I believe the standoffish situation that we started from earlier on in the game is going to be back right here in front of us. But let's see, Red Esports right now deciding that they want to disengage. The players are starting to fall back, and it is going to be quite interesting to see if they will be allowed to do that. Because DE GANGSTERS, all they have to do is deal with the players of JyanMaara, and when I say deal with them, I mean find a way to disengage, and that has already happened since JyanMaara themselves have moved out of position. So after this, DE GANGSTERS can now cross over to the other side, move into position, and try and see if they can get a hold or get another knock going from the side of Red Esports. But while I was just strategizing all this out, Red Esports, the great escape, it is a success.
Just flew away, and this is the best thing they can do right now. But on the other side, Xtreme Outlaws Comet, he got punished by one team, and we can see that his skill has been confirmed. Now, as you just mentioned about that one particular player, the team basically Red, they just flew away, and they are just moving inside the circle. So that's the best option, that's the viable option. You lost one player finally. All the three players are alive. You collected some decent amount of loot. Now just moving away. And the important part is, same thing has been done by the team JyanMaara. They secured one kill after Snipe Whitey goes down. They decided to disengage from the fight. Now the teams are going to focus on the zone. Now this team YM, this was the second last team who take an exit in the previous match. They will focus on those placement points from now because those are very, very important. But look at that gunner. He has the beast gun in his hand and he spots down the players of red. Oh no, this is not looking good.
Well, it's definitely not looking good, but Gunner, he's gonna finally back off. But as soon as they get that one more finish from the squad, they're gonna realize that this is a team we have dealt with before, and it's just a three-man roster. Gunner has the MP49 as well. This is gonna be perfect to take out multiple players from those vehicles. The first knock is gonna be there. The other two players are gonna be low as well. Gunner going for the spray. Two players have been taken down. Red Esports down to just one last player. Stark in the backlines. Gunner, he's gonna switch over to the VSS, which is gonna be quite interesting. Weapon choice in a situation like this, but yeah, he's gonna be bleeding out, and there it is. Red Esports getting finished off by the players of JyanMaara, and they get 4 kills. I mean, 3 kills have been picked up from this scenario. They picked up 1 kill from the GANGSTERS. JyanMaara off to the races again. First squad wipe within the first 8 minutes of Miramar, ladies and gentlemen.
I literally thought that that's the best option from the side of Red here to just back off from the fight, but no, Red Esports basically, but no, that's not the case. JyanMaara literally, dominating the whole lobby right now. They secured 4 kills. In fact, they forced one team to just go out, to just leave the lobby. Now, the team Salty squad, they are very close to the players of JyanMaara as well as the players of DG. Quite possible both the teams, in fact, teams will fight against each other, but the chances are quite high. Now, how this fight is going to pan out. But look at the circle; it's just shift towards the eastern side and towards the northeastern side of Fort Perry.
Well, let's see. I mean, the circle moving towards La Benedita Impala city already under control of the players of Corps. They will have to deal with the players of MYM who are moving in from the south. But look at the winners of the last game, Hoody Esports. They are dealing with the blue zone right now, the furthest squad away from the circle, and it is definitely going to be a challenge for them to actually make it in. So there are a lot of teams that they will have to go through. In the meanwhile, the first airdrop in front of us, MG3, is going to be the weapon inside it, along with the suppressor for the AR and the level 3 kit. The West, the helmet, and the backpack present. But let's see which team is going to be wielding that weapon in their hands and going for the destruction spree on their opponents. In the meanwhile, YM in this game are definitely going to be quite happy that they are not the first one to take an exit, but XO is closing in from the back lines, and Manny, he needs to be careful. Is that just that one player from the side of XO completely isolated? So Manny as his teammate and his teammate, they had the opportunity to actually go for the finish, but one Renan right here on our screens uh, tried to go for a spray. I believe few shots were fired from him, but since he realized the lad was traveling a little too fast, he decided to very safe. But hey, another opportunity presents itself to these players. YM Esports against 2RGR. They have found the opening. The first knock is going to be there, but can they secure more? As GURKHA has moved on to the high ground, Skazi is still trying to see if he can dish out the damage with the utility. And well, one of the lads has been dropped quite low. Manny taking a lot of damage. GURKHA from the high ground is going to find the opening, and Manny is going to be the first one to go down from the side of YM.
It's not looking good. After finding an opening, now they got one player from the side of YM. He goes down, but Manny, he needs a revival on the other side. Cars, he's just reviving Dondai, and after the revival, I'm sure they will rush on to the players of YM, because we all know that grenades are the best and the efficient way to eliminate a team if they are just hiding inside a compound. But by the looks of it, the team just moving forward. They are just going to hold the mountain, or we can say that they're just going to use that height advantage in their favor. But that is engaging from the fight. YM Esports secured one kill, but that was enough for now. Team Huddle on the other side. In the previous match, they secured only 1 point. Now, this is the chance. This is the Miramar. This is the different map. They still have a lot of chance left for now. On the other side, Battalion 5 slowly and steadily moving in. Right there, 2 players from the side of Battalion 5. They are out in an open area, and this is not a good thing.
Well, let's see. I mean, it is definitely not looking good, but Team Huddle from the backlines might just be able to capitalize on the situation. They have one of their lads knocked out, but it is not going to be a tough revive since Battalion 5 is sort of moving forward and disengaging. They don't want to fight out in the open. Getting cover for themselves is definitely the first priority for the squad. We'll have some bridges for now, though, if they do get engaged upon, but the circle just shifting completely south.
Yeah.
And again, Impala is a really high priority location right now. And as one of our colleagues, Trooper, likes to say in situations like this, the real estate rates for Impala are definitely going through the roofs. But let's see who will be able to sort of get a property for themselves in that location. And meanwhile, Hype is in trouble as one of the individuals was taken down. SOLTI is going to lose out on Pratik, and Namsi in the back lines is going to be really low. Dolph is quite healthy. Jordan is quite healthy though, but the two players basically out of the picture. SOLTI will have to buy themselves some time to go for the revive, to get the heals going, and then see if they can re-engage into the fight against the players of EXO.
But look at that. That mind read as well as that game read from the side of Dolph was perfect. That he dodged that one single grenade as well as he bought a lot of time for Pratik so that he can fall back. But oh my goodness, Dominic, that grenade was almost perfect. Look at that. Dolph was just running only 10% HP now. Both the teams, they are inside the circle, but that Viking. Oh my lord, takes down 2 players from the side of SOLTI. Now they are forced to back off because they lost 2 players in an instant. Now Sense just trying his level best so that he can at least take down the whole squad. But no, just stopped firing, and now he's just gonna collect a lot of loot from the loot crates. The good thing is they collected 2 kills, and they will enjoy some loots, and they are inside the circle too. So this is the good thing. This is the best thing for Xtreme Outlaws till now.
Well, it is definitely quite wonderful, Xtreme Outlaws, but just the fact that with the next shift, if they're outside the circle, then it is going to be quite interesting to see how how they're going to tackle that situation. But in the meanwhile, look at the cluster of teams that have formed towards the northern side of the circle. And in Impala, you definitely can't even read the name of the location. There are so many teams present there. But Team Huddle Master getting taken out, and who actually gets that finish? Zod actually was responsible for the knock, but he did not get the kill, as the kill has been stolen. And the rest of the players of Team Huddle, well, they're going to huddle up somewhere else, since their last location inside this map have been compromised.
no.
They'll be outside the circle, but hey, quite unfortunate, just getting taken out mid-rotation, the vehicle getting blown up, and the player just getting shattered into pieces. But the third runner-up inside the game, AUG, the level 3 is going to be there as well. But 15 minutes inside the match, I believe we have to wait like 5 more minutes before all the fights are going to break out.
Yeah.
So players will be forced to take an exit from Impala, and that is when I believe this game is going to take a
Oh,
really
no.
exciting turn. And as I said, I mean, just moving south of Impala, only MYM is the only team inside the circle, just holding the shorelines towards the eastern edge of the map. Everyone else is outside, and everyone will be forced to leave their covers. The game is going to go in absolute pandemonium at this point.
And the interesting part is, Shawnee, that MYN, they just dropped down near the Puerto Periso area. So they were holding that area for too long, and now they are inside the circle. So the zone is favoring them. Now, JyanMaara Susan, he's just running for his life because they lost one player, and that is gonna. They secured 4 kills, and that's it. After that, they are still running for their life because the zone priority is most important. Now, teams like JyanMaara, Xtreme Outlaws, they have good start, but this is not the case for Frozen Phoenix because they lost one player. Bye-bye, he also goes down. The GANGSTERS does not a lot of damage. Saga almost takes down Nay7, but he's barely surviving on 30% HP. Saga just healing himself up, and now that first aid kit, after that first aid kit, he's beyond 75 HP back again, but he is so far away from the circle, 800 meters, as well as look at that, how much damage he is taking from the blue zone.
Well, let's see how much damage he's going to be taking from the blue zone. In the meanwhile, Sarga from the side of the GANGSTERS moving forward by M1 Rillen. Experienced lad against another, but Sarga doesn't have enough HP. He's getting finished off, and there it is. The GANGSTERS just getting wiped out from this match. On the 15th position, Frozen Phoenix in the back line. So 2 players still surviving, one inside the zone, the other one outside, just trying to heal, trying to survive. Entering the circle is definitely going to be a big challenge right now. Hypejod, he does have cover of the ridge in front of him, but the players from the side of Fox, and in fact, there's quite a lot of teams away. Wait, what? Nay7, what was that? He just burned himself alive. He threw a Molotov on himself. Why?
I think so. We should ask him for that because I think they just don't want to give his skill to someone else, and that's why he just burned himself alive. But it's still a question for every single person. But by the looks of it, JyanMaara finally they find another opening. We can see Susan again popping up, stepping up, taking down some players with GM Esports. Finally, they are so close to the circle, but the bad thing is they are yet so far because only 2 players are still surviving, and they are up against one team, and that is called Hoody Esports. They secured a chicken in the previous match, and right now they just got eliminated at the 13th position, and I don't think so that they secured a single point.
Well, as you said, I mean, yeah, I think it's part of calculations when we look at the team standing over there. But GM Esports, that was such a wonderful opportunity to get a free knock, but Manny getting a lot of damage instead. At JyanMaara, they're going to make sure that Manny does in fact get punished for that as he gets taken out. Cops on the other side, Spicer has been taken down. The 3-man roster is still surviving there, but it's not an easy fight, and this is them. And from the other direction, Hyper is shooting at them as well. George dishing out a lot of damage on the player Maskey G. But the rest of the lads, they're going to keep on moving forward. JyanMaara, no fear, keeping an eye on the players. Of course, 2 players have been taken down, but 1 still remains. I'm sorry, 2 still remain. Rana in the front line, and he has his teammate right behind him as well. But JyanMaara in some trouble as Gunner has been finished off. Snipe again on his knee. JyanMaara down to just 2 players. It is such a massive challenge right now, just trying to rotate inside the circle. Hype, Henry is going to be taken down. Zord just going for an aggressive peak is going to take a damage, a lot of damage in fact, dropping down to 1.5 HP. Definitely not an easy rotation for anyone.
This old squad from the side of Fox, this old squad of Fox is doing a lot of job in this Miramar map. Look at that. Rana almost knocked out 1 player, but no, he was barely surviving on 40% HP. Now, Cops, they have to move inside the circle because they are 150 meters far away from the circle, and so is the case for Team Hype. Now, Ryu finally revived his teammate, and Shot again, he is there on the backside for Ryu. This is his chance, spots down 1, knocked out 1, but unable to finish off the player. But Rana from a different angle, he goes down by the Jordan. Hype, they were looking for this opening, and yup, they got it, but still, zone is going to be the most important factor. Susan, he is not stopping. He has 20 bullets in his UMP, but look at that. That was a good approach from the side of Saitama. He knocked out Snipe Whitey, but that was not enough to knock out another player. JyanMaara will live up to their name. Kane.
Well, let's see. I mean, quite an unfortunate situation for the squad. Although even this time, even if JyanMaara, continuously see them being in sort of a pickle, a troublesome situation, they still have secured 9 kills. So they're not looking to stop anytime soon. But over on the other side, definitely a wonderful show of display of how your tip speed is supposed to be used by the squad of leaders, as they do get a knock on SOLTI squad's Dolph with a Molotov, I believe, and GURKHaxBATTALION backlines, the MYM, and some trouble. Dalu is going to be finished off. Xyrox, he's completely focused on fighting the team on the high ground. That's going to be 2 RGR, but need to reset his attention and try and see if he can take care of the players from the side of leaders, as they will be putting up a lot of pressure on my Nation Esports, and it is going to be quite interesting to see if Xyrox is going to be able to do that, as his only other teammate is knocked out in the line of fire for the players of leaders to actually get quite an easy finish, and Xyrox is left completely alone, just running from one building to other, trying to see if he can avoid any sort of collision with any team and just try and get inside the circle. But Xyrox was able to spot him out, but still no shots taken. It's going to be super low, so priority number 1 is going to be to get his HP back.
And look at that, the zone just formed near the shoreline, and some of the teams are not happy with this final circle, or we can see with the 6th circle. But GURKHA cooking up 1 grenade.
Well, let's see. GURKHA still holding on to the cliff. His teammate right behind him. My Nation Esports taking an exit on the 10th position. Leaders, they're going to move forward, but 2 RG are still doing a wonderful job. 4 kills have been secured. 4-man roster still alive. They have to deal with the teams towards their northeast. Otherwise, entering the circle is going to be such a big challenge for them. Then there is going to be an opportunity, or in fact a moment where they might just get sandwiched. There's a little bit too much pressure for them to deal with, but we do have Yaxo on our screens from Xtreme Outlaws, and that lad is the last surviving player for his team. Only one thing left to do is just keep your head down and see if you make it out to the other side. But as Unity, it is going to take it. The team is going to be taking an exit, and they're not going to be the only ones. We're down to 6 teams all of a sudden, 15 players. SOLTI squad also getting eliminated, and 1 more team getting kicked out. It is going to be the team of Cops. And meanwhile, Hype taking a fight against 2 RGR, and well, I mean, on the edge of the circle, this should be something that the team can deal with quite easily.
But look at that. That 1 grenade was so perfect that he Zod just goes down. But look at that. Lakshay from a different angle, he goes down to RGR. They're just hiding behind that 1 Ronnie truck, and that is going to be their only cover. But they're just popping up some smokes so that they can make an extra cover as well as to block out the vision. But JyanMaara, they have to move inside the circle. No fear, clearing out their front lines, taking down the players who are front of him, and Nofia just not stopping. Switch to his M249, finish off the player Jod, and Ryu, he's still there, surviving on just 40% HP.
Well, let's see. I mean, Zod, he's finally going to be taken down. Ryu is going to be there to cover up his teammate. JyanMaara, they're moving forward. 11 kills have been secured by this two-man roster. Look at Nofia in this game as well. 7 kills. Oh, this is going to be quite tricky, Suzanne. Watch your flank.
No.
Watch your flank, and finally be shut down. Ryu is going to try and secure the kill, but Nofia is jiggling in and out behind the tree, left and right, trying to move forward, but finally gets shut down. And Hype, Ryu, he's going to be the one who is going to have a wonderful momentum for himself, but he is the last player surviving and instantly find himself in a 1v4 situation against the players of 2RGR. This is a fight that will be impossible to win. But let's see what is going to happen. The players of 2RGR, they are quite close to each other, so a couple of grenades might just be enough to get at least 2 knocks for Ryu right here. It is definitely going to be a challenge. Meanwhile, we do have the players from the set of leaders holding on to the southeastern edge of the circle, and well, Battalion 5, they have a major chunk of the circle under them.
I thought that was great from the side of Ryu, but Stockholm is the person just going to finish off Ryu. Now, Battalion 5 against 2RGR and Leader. Only 2 players have survived from the side of Leader, and Onfroy on this side spots down both the players. Now, Leader making sure so that they can make some extra cover using those moves, and Onfroy just free peeking, just peeking again from the same angle, just want to collect some information because the blue zone is also closing in. Every single team is inside the blue zone now. 2RGR, this is going to be their game because they have the man advantage and they have very, very, very good control of this particular circle. Onfroy received a lot of damage, healing himself up, applying the first aid, and now he's just back on 75% HP. Sagun from the flank angle, just taking on top of the players of 2RGR.
Well, let's see. You are still stuck in that small little depth that they have under the control. Battalion 5, Sagun trying to move forward. If this nade is perfect, this is going to be the thing that starts the entire fight. But leaders in the back lines, Onfroy, he's trying to keep an eye, trying to see if he can stop Luffy from moving forward any further. But in the meanwhile, opening has been found. Lake, OP has been taken down to RGR, still holding their ground quite nicely. But as we are down to these 3 teams, these top 3 teams, 9 players still surviving, it is a massive question as to who will walk away with the chicken dinner in this match. And I guess the next shift of the circle will be the thing that breaks the equilibrium that's there between these squads inside this game right now, and it is going to be deciding which team will have a really, really good momentum. Because now, even just crossing that road, it is definitely going to be a really big challenge, and I believe if he sees the closest to the blue zone, might just be the first one to get taken out.
This just brought down to only the 7th zone. In fact, the 8th zone journey. Luffy is still surviving. He's still there, but he has to, reposition himself so that he can be inside the circle. But this is not looking good. This is not going to be that good for GR, because if Luffy decided to just backstab them, then he can enjoy at least 2 kills. But 2RGR, they're looking pretty strong. Slowly, so they are also moving towards that ridge. One road just literally dividing 3 teams from each other. In fact, 2 teams. Onfroy at his best. It's almost 85% damage, but he has that AK in his hand. Sagun spots down 2 players who are just moving inside that vehicle. Luffy tried his little bit, but he goes down, and now it's a 2-3v4 situation.
Well, let's see. I mean, 3v4 situation towards forward. GURKHA, he's going to try and see if he can get a flank going, but we do see the MP right there. The MP49 as well. The Khan trying to run outside to find an opening, but Battalion 5 in a troublesome situation. Sagun, he's bleeding out on the backlines, but 2RGR, they've lost one of their own as well. Now still be down to 3 versus 2 again, and down to 2 teams finally. Man roster of 2RGR is brought down to 2 man as Onfroy is going to find an opening. The second knock can come his way as well, but it's going to be there, and it is going to be the victory there. and going in hand of 2RGR, who do in fact end up walking away with the second winner on the map of Miramar. 9 kills secured, 24 points coming in for the team. Overall rank, I mean, it does put them in the top 3, but with the way JyanMaara sort of picked up, I'm pretty sure they're still going to be sitting on the first position.
And you were after the push Erangel, is the most promising side of 2RG. This got a chicken in and 24 points onto their name, as you just mentioned. Now they are at the third position in the overall ranking, but teams like Hype as well as teams like JyanMaara, they also had a great outing. Basically, they also had a great match. Ryu, he was the MVP from this particular match, secured 6 kills to get his 1100 damage from the side of this particular player.
Well, let's see. I mean, 1112 damage, 6 kills, no assists though. Ryu was definitely quite incredible as far as individual display of skill. But it was just the fact that I believe Hype, they just got too distracted with the fights and how they had to approach them, that they failed to realize the fact that towards the end of every single match in Miramar, you are absolutely surrounded. Even if you are on the edge, you're fighting from 3 different directions at the same time. And that is how Hype did in fact lose out on most of their players. But still, quite a valiant effort. I mean, they did in fact walk away with a few kill points and a decent number of placement points as well. So it's going to be quite interesting to see where does this game bring the players of Hype in terms of the overall standings. But apart from you, a man who was like really impressive was No Fear as well. Look at that, 7 kills secured with only 339 damage. So he was definitely capitalizing on all that chaos. Every single knock he saw out of the open, he was like, all right, that's fine.
Yep, that's fine, and that's why he has the highest kills amongst the top 5 players. But Kazi from the side of 2RG are at the third position with 5 kills and 924 damage. Saga from the GANGSTERS. So this man, he was so good. The team, the GANGSTERS, they are trying to level it so that they can secure a second dinner. But survival time is the point of concern. Only 15 minutes, John.
Well, I mean, just 15 minutes, but looked like that was enough for the lad. That was enough for him to secure all those points for his team. But let's have a look at the match summary, which is definitely the most interesting thing that you get to see on, in Miramar, because I mean, we have seen 300 plus meters on Sanhok, on Erangel. Why is it every single time Miramar is there, the map that's the biggest in the game, you never get to see the highest distance skill over 300? It's always 270, 280 meters right now as well, 274 meter, but it is still a big distance. But why do we get 300 meters on Sanhok? How does that happen?
Anything can happen in this PUBG Mobile. And in fact, at the previous match, as long as it was 250 meters, so there's 24 meters plus in this Sanhok. But let's talk about the match ranking. Those are Battalion 5, your 20 total points. That's massive. But JyanMaara Esports, again, their kill department is always strong. 12 kills onto their name, 18 total points secured by JyanMaara. But AsOne Phoenix, they were struggling. So as the players of Hoody Esports, they secured a chicken dinner again. The point is, if you secure a chicken in a previous match, you should perform well as you should, just remain consistent. But Hoody Esports, they were not that consistent in this particular match.
Well, let's see. I mean, as you said, not consistent enough. Hoody just getting taken out earlier on. In fact, no points from this Huddle as well as Red Esports as well. But if you're going to talk about surprises, I have to say the surprising performance right now are coming from SOLTI squad and Cops out of all teams. Because, based on how we saw these teams recently, SOLTI squad is definitely a big name. It is a name that I have been seeing in the scene from Nepal since 2019. And, there are a lot of expectations if you have that banner with you, but Cops, we saw them quite recently, in fact, as you mentioned, the PMNC, but this lineup was there as well, and they actually put up a decent performance.
You know what? The important part is if you just play a recent tournament, if you were in a team tournament, so you have that confidence and as well as you have that experience playing against one of the best teams from the Nepal region match by Cops. It was just one single match. After that Erangel match, they just put a good fight in this particular Miramar map. But as I just mentioned about SOLTI squad, Pratik, this particular lad, he always just need to at least secure some good amount of points. Other players still are still some new players, but still the experience as well as the gun power, it just it is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely looking quite awesome. And I mean, JyanMaara are doing really well for themselves. But I have to say that in terms of gun skills, almost every single team that we have seen in front of us is looking quite decent in terms of all those 4v4 fights that we've seen break out. But looking at the overall rankings after just the second game, look at the difference right there. JyanMaara sitting on 30 kills, 18 placement points, 48 points in total. And the next highest kills that I see are on Hype, that is 13. A drop from 30 to 13. That is massive.
And you know what? If you would add up the kills of leaders as well as Tuargia, it's still 18, right? It's still, if we add up Tuargia kills and hype, it's still 22. So that's type of aggression we expect from the side of JyanMaara, and they are just showcasing the same thing. But Red Esports, they are still at the 8th position. They dropped down 2 positions, but still remain at the same position. Xtreme Outlaws finally take a step up, and now they are at the 9th position with total 10 points. Frozen Phoenix played 2 matches and scored only 1 total point. Huddle also struggling a little bit at the 5th position with only 2 points. YM Esports, they secured some early kills, but just
Yeah.
after that, they unable to continue that rhythm till the end.
I mean, YM Esports, I agree with you. I mean, the early fights in this game in particular were quite interesting and I mean, engaged quite perfectly from the side of YM Esports. But as you said, just keeping that flow going from one fight to other was something that the team definitely failed. And uh, the reason for that is after every single finish, you need to be able to reset and reposition. If you keep on moving in a straight line, someone is definitely going to intercept you and cut you off. But with that being said, we do have 2 more matches left, ladies and gentlemen, Sanhok
Yeah, yeah.
and one more Erangel. But before we move to the map of Sanhok, we're going to take a very short break. So stay tuned, keep watching. We'll be right back.
What's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Here we go now.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Split 2021, brought to you by the Oppo F90 Pro. Boot up your fun with the Oppo F90 Pro. Prajani, joined by Phoenix and Punch. And today is day number one of the group stage, ladies and gentlemen. We have teams from Group A and going up against teams from Group B. Two matches are done. One Erangel, one Miramar. Now it's time for Sanhok, which is going to be played up next. And so far, if I was to summarize the day, it has been the day for JyanMaara. I mean, even though we see Hoody Esports taking the chicken dinner in the first game and 2RGR taking the chicken dinner in the Miramar match, JyanMaara have managed to be consistent in both the games with the number of kills they have got.
They have total 30 kills in their bank. So yeah, they are showcasing that type of aggression, and their kill department's looking pretty strong. But
Yeah.
teams like Hoody Esports as well as the Nation Esports, Huddle, and Cops, they have to step up. Hoody Esports, after securing that second winner in the second map, they secured 0 points. So that is not a good thing for them. But this is going to be the Sanhok map, and we all know it is going to be the fastest map in this in the PUBG Mobile. Teams usually,
Well,
engage in those early skirmishes. But which team just gonna collide their drop location? Which team just gonna collide their drop location? Some of the teams, like if you're gonna just end up against JyanMaara, then it might cost you are gonna be in a bit of trouble.
well, let's see. I mean, as you said, I mean, if the drop locations do clash, there's definitely going to be quite a lot of trouble in the early stages. But I mean, Sanhok, it is quite interesting in the sense that is sometimes even if you are expecting there to be early skirmishes, teams do find a way to disengage, and there's going to be those one or two individual pickups that you're going to witness, and after that, you're going to have mid-game stages. But so far, based on the trajectory of the plane, I believe every single squad is going to get their desired operation. But Cops in a troublesome situation, I believe. Masky G has already been picked off within a few seconds of the game starting.
Yeah, as well as Rana goes down, and now Cops is relying on only two players, Black and Spicer. And look at that. YM, this is the team. If you have the gun, then you can lead yourself to some kill points. And yup, that's the same thing YM just managed to do the same thing basically. But important part is YM again. They always engage in those early skirmishes, and they always win those early fights. But what after that? Like you have to win those mid fights as well, and you have to manage yourself, and you have to lead yourself till the final. But we can see two kills onto their name, YM Esports. They are just ruling this paradise resort, and they'll collect some good loot from this particular area.
Well, I mean, they're definitely going to try and collect some good loot for themselves after chasing away the opposition, the competition that was there. And it was also a tough competition. I mean, Cops is no easy team to beat, but YM having picked up 2 kills already and having put the players of Cops in a troublesome situation. Let's see how far this sort of shift in momentum is going to allow them to walk inside this game. In the meanwhile, the players from the side of Cops are definitely going to have to take it quite easy. They're just going to be holding their positions, finding some cover for themselves. But priority number one for Black is going to be finding a helmet. Has no way to sort of do a little bit of damage control if he takes those headshots, and a backpack as well, though.
And look at that, he's just moving straight up towards the place of JyanMaara. We can see that JyanMaara is in the vicinity, but Spicer is looking out for a different angle. He's just checking out the area, and he's just moving forward towards the individual compartment. 2+2 split in the favor of JyanMaara is looking pretty strong, so as his team. Gunnar, he's looking pretty strong, so as his team. But if we talk about the circle, it's just formed towards the north side of the map, and JyanMaara AS High, they are pretty happy with this circle because they are certainly just towards the center of the circle. But teams like EXO, GR, as well as TH, they have to move inside the circle as soon as possible. But Huddle, I don't think so that they're going to face any type of competition while moving inside the circle, because if they just move towards the Bhan area, then they just move towards the eastern side of the boot camp, then it might possible they will end up engaging in fights. Otherwise, they are happy.
Well, let's see. I mean, I agree with you. In other situations, they are going to be quite comfortable. But look at the view of the blue zone closing in. It still hasn't engulfed the map, but in a short moment, it's definitely going to be moving in, and we're going to start feeling the wrath of the blue zone. But from the distance, I mean, the map does look quite beautiful, although you can't see the teams towards your left. We do see them towards our right. And the squad of leaders in a comfortable position right now, having taken control of Cap Alpha. They will have the opportunity to move to the high ground of the Temple Hill as well and just see if they can pick up a few more points by taking on the players of Red Esports. In the meanwhile, I mean, boot camp area is definitely going to get cluttered up in the next few minutes. Hype is there. We have the players from AST moving in as well to RGR coming in from the southeast and from extreme south. It is going to be SOLTI squad. So four teams present in that location.
Oh, we have 4 teams, 8 teams, multiple fights. But look at the position of the players of MYN. They are literally playing on the edge from the start of the game, right? So this was the same, strategy they were following in the previous match, which was Miramar, and now they're just picking up the same plan. So I'm quite happy with this type of strategy. But look at the circle, like look at the 3D representation of the Sanhok map and the boot camp, it's in the center of the map, and but I'm still wondering that where the teams will land. The Paradise Resort, it's quite high, and we can see that those mountains are very very helpful if you're gonna engage in some fights, and if you want to fire some shots from a distance.
Well, let's see. I mean, as you said, I mean, from the distance, it's going to make things quite a little bit easier, in fact. But I want to see, I mean, because it is going to be a risky pickup going inside the water just to get the airdrop. And I believe it's also towards the extreme northern side. So players are going to be more focused on their rotation. But Javon Crazy just trying to fall back as he does. In fact, yeah, the players on the other side of the ridge just making a run for it while his teammate just gives him the ADS on towards the ridge just in case anyone tried to peek him on. He would have had some cover in form of the shots coming in from the front. But now the players of five, they're gonna have to regroup amongst themselves inside the bootcamp buildings. Just try and be safe because now they realize they have been surrounded from every single direction.
Staying inside a building, it doesn't mean that you are safe because we can see that Jord, he goes down and he needs a revival. So now Ryuj is moving towards him and the revival is going to be initiated. But the important part is, as the players A is one, they just compromise their position, which is not a good thing for you because now Hype, they know that there's one single team just present on the eastern side of the boot camp, in fact on the western side as well, because I saw another team in the same vicinity.
Well, there are multiple teams in the same vicinity, and I mean that is the reason why these lads are going to have to be extremely careful. But in the meanwhile, I mean, as one unity, we do have Mr. Gunda on our screens right now, just making sure that his team's backlines are going to be cleared up, and they have the luxury of holding on to these smaller little hills for a long time. They have covered up the position from the side of Hype, so there's not going to be no engagement from there. The only angle from where they can be engaged is going to be the southern side of the map, and even then, if someone actually does try and close in, they will actually, in fact, hear them out and they will have the opportunity to catch them completely off guard. But over on the other side, Team Huddle. Now, they had quite an interesting exit in the last match, so this time they're going to try and see if they can recover because in the last game on Miramar, they just got picked up so easily mid rotations. Like they were just driving around and people were just blowing up their vehicles, getting those knocks and getting those finishes. So this time, Team Huddle, they have to be extremely careful with how they move around in this game.
Yeah, but circle start close again, and I think so. It is going to be a centralized shift, and yep, it is. Hype still inside the circle, so as the players of Soul, TG, or Exos will instantly closing in the distance, but MYN. Now things are getting interesting for them because if they just decide that they're going to move towards the Camp Alpha Island, then they will have to deal with the players of leader as well as HO. And if they decide that they're going to move towards the ruin area, then just move towards the Pina, and then it might possible that they're going to end up against Salty. I just want to talk about the team Xtreme Outlaws, Johnny, because they are pretty good. Not that awesome or not that bad, but still kind of decent, kind of a mediocre performance. But if I just want to talk about their previous PMC performance, they were in the eighth position in the group stage, and in the finals they were at 13th version. So the just stepping up and showcasing your perfect performance, it is most important, but being consistent is the best option. You were at the 8th, now you just dropped down at the 13th position in the finals. That's not a good thing. But right now in this PMCO, you are struggling.
Well, I mean, they're definitely struggling just a little bit, but still, harder. It's just the first day, so they will have the opportunity to recover for themselves. But one third of the matches are going to be played for these groups at least. One third of the matches are going to be done by today. So, I mean, there will be a little bit of pressure, but I mean, they will have to figure out a way to deal with it. And then meanwhile, what leader, the squad of leader, will have to figure out a way to deal with it. It is definitely going to be Hoody Esports, as Clown of 4 has found an opening for his team. Zorax in the back lines, really low on his HP, but is still looking to heal up and try and see if he can find sort of a trade against the players of Hoodie. Lollipop is going to be there just holding on to the window while Zorax has smoked off his position, and I believe it is time to fall back.
Yeah, because you already lost one player. Basically, one player already goes down. Now, Zorax, deployment of two smokes in a very, very close range, right? And as well as just if you just want to move towards that drop, deployment of two smokes, it's not that good. But still, to be on the safer side, you have to do those type of stuff. But we can say that Daju secured the kill, and now the esports, they have that one kill point in their favor. They are inside the circle, legends falling back, disengaging from the fight, not leaving that height advantage, but still they are least interested in this fight because they're already off one player. Now, JyanMaara spots down the players of EG, and they know, no fear. Look at that. No fear just gave the information to Susan, and Susan, he's on the flank angle.
Well, the flank is definitely going to be there coming in from Sujin, but it is going to be down to Sujin and Gunner, both of them in tandem to find the openings on these two lads right in front of them. And if they do so, then maybe JyanMaara can just wipe out the whole squad. But they have to be careful because the gangsters, the gangsters, I'm sorry, they also have quite an interesting setup going for themselves where the two players are, well, sitting quite exposed in the rest of the lads. We do see them split up in the back line. So it's going to make things quite interesting to see if what the rest of the players are going to do as soon as their teammates do get engaged upon. But 11 minutes in, we still have 16 teams and 61 players still surviving in this game. And I mean, just third circle beyond, I believe the fights are going to get started. And in fact, they have started already as Hype right now is taking on the players of Red Esports.
The circle will form towards the north side, the boot camp and leader inside the circle. So as the players of Red, Hype, and AS1, JyanMaara, they're also inside the circle and kind of in the center of the circle. But look at that, that one single plateau on the river, that one single spawn, small island in the river. If any team decided to just go there and to hold those two compounds, it might possible that the final circle is just going to be there and they will enjoy its ending.
Well, let's see. I mean, if they will be able to enjoy themselves, a really nice chicken dinner or not. But in the meanwhile, Red, I guess they're just going to be happy with the fact that they did, in fact, get a revive. But now Beard is going to get knocked out. Needs to be extremely careful because if he misses a step, he's just going to get tossed in the water and get finished off. But Jivan Crazy trying to move forward is going to take a lot of damage from the flank. Is instantly going to go prone and try and see if he can just recover from the mistake that was made. But the answer is going to be no. As finally, AsOne Unity, they find an opening and Hype. It looks like the squad is going to be in a world of trouble. Santana, Zod is going to try and take a few shots towards his opponent, but Santana instantly backs off behind the rock. And AsOne Unity, they are being extremely careful in this fight, and they have to be. There's quite a lot of distance between the teams. There's absolutely no opportunity for them to actually score these kills.
Sword on the other side, firing some random shots on top of Saitama. Saitama, basically, the revival is here. Like, the revival is not yet here, but I think so it is going to be here because George is slowly moving in. But they have to be careful. You don't have to repeat these types of mistakes again and again. If any of your player goes down while moving inside the circle, then it could cost you a lot. On the other side, Sane spots down the players of Hoodie, just out a lot of damage onto one player, but now He is just reloading his M21. But this is quite a lot. But look at that. That really was so good. Cycle receives a lot of damage. Or brought down to only 40% HP. But that is not the case for Pratik. From the side of SOLTI squad, he goes down, and we can see that Dolph, he's inside the compound, a little bit far away from his teammate, but Psycho, he's holding a crucial angle.
Well, he's definitely holding quite a critical position right now, holding off the players of SOTI squad, denying them the revive on their own teammate. But Dolph is going to try his level best. If he tosses one grenade just tossed quite correctly, can actually put Psycho in a troublesome situation. But Psycho, with his own utility, is going to try and see if he can find a little bit more breathing space for himself. And look at Dolph, he's trying to go for a revive, a lot of damage dished out. That was the worst decision that could have been made. Now Psycho will have an opportunity to secure 2 kills instead of 1. But he needs to be careful because the rest of the lads from the side of SOTI squad are in fact on the high ground. And engaging with a nade right now would have been the perfect decision, but Psycho is just holding off.
Look at that. Jordan is providing a lot of cover because he's just firing some random bullets or top of that rock, and the cover fire is insane, but revival is there. Now, Pratik just, he dropped that one molly, but look at that Psycho, barely survived from that molly, and no, that was not the case. Psycho, slowly and steadily, just down his health basically just going down, but that jump shot from the side of Pratik with his M249 was perfect, finished off Psycho instantly.
Where is the utility? That is going to be my question. Where is the utility in that play? Not even SOLTI squad committing anything. I mean, they had the numbers for themselves, but now my Nation Esports in a troublesome situation, they will definitely have to try and see if they can make the players. SOLTI squad Pratik again pulling down, and this time the kill is definitely going to get secured as Pratik is slowly and steadily bleeding out. Plus the blue zone will be there as well, and there it is. We do have Tuxedo going for the kill secure, and SOTI squad being cut down to just the last 3 players surviving. No first aids on this lad, by the way, and he has to go 600 meters inside the zone. So this is definitely a really risky situation for him.
Kind of impossible, but still, you have to do it. But what he can do is he can literally destroy SOLTI while they are moving inside the circle. He can backstab, but I don't think that's not the case right now. That's not going to be the case because the distance is again quite a lot. On the other side, Team Huddle, they spot down the players of Expo, but Dominic with his amazing grenades for knocked out Master. Now Exo slowly and steadily closing in the distance. Dominic with that jump shot receives a lot of damage, but at the end he knocked out one player, knocks another down. Look at that, both the players, Wetzo and Dominic, barely surviving on 5% HP. Bahadur from the backlines tried his level best to provide a lot of cover fire, but no, he was unsuccessful.
Well, being unsuccessful in that situation will definitely hold a really big sort of impact right there. But talking about impacts right now, Bahadur, he's gonna have to put up major impact for his team right now, trying to just battle the blue. The boosters are going though, but he still has to travel 400 meters. And before he goes 400 meters towards the circle, he has to make sure that the players of EXO are not going to be there. But as I say that, Comet has spotted Bahadur out, down to 50% HP. Let's see EXO, they're just leaving one man behind to see if they can finish off this individual. And that is definitely the one of the safest approaches. Otherwise, I mean, we've seen all 4 players just starting to win that individual and just going for the finish. But meanwhile, JyanMaara just starting things off again, finding themselves on the kill feed. And this time it is going to be BX taking a lot of damage from the players of JyanMaara, but Sudan again dropped quite low in terms of how much HP he has.
Frozen Phoenix, they are again struggling. They are up against the team who has the highest amount of kill points, which is JyanMaara. Hype on the other side. They need a revival. The team is slowly and steadily dying. They are just taking a lot of damage off the blue zone. SOLTI from a different angle. We can see that Jordan is cooking one. Okay, that volley was not perfect, but Nemesis, the revival is going to be there. We can see Van Karazi also initiated another revival, but this fight is going inside the blue zone, and you are receiving a lot of damage from the blue zone. We saw that the Jord also goes down by the blue zone. Jord is slowly just closing in. He needs some kills, and yup, but no, over aggressing, and that was worked in his favor. But at the end, the SOLTI squad got eliminated, but this is not looking good for Hype. Frozen Phoenix, they go down at the 13th position. JyanMaara secure 2 kills. No fear, he goes down, but again, the revival is going to be there.
Well, the revival is definitely going to come in, but it needs to come in on time. In the meanwhile, Red Esports starting towards the players of My Nation, and the players are going to be the world of trouble as Beard and his teammates will find an opening, but Beard has taken a lot of damage right now, needs to back off. His armor is completely gone, no helmet on the lad as well. Spraying the barrel on the edge of the rock, just trying to see if he can catch the last surviving players, Xyrox off guards. In the meanwhile, Sane is coming as a form of backup for his team, but that is not going to matter. Brooks in the other side is going to be taken down again by Xyrox, and My Nation Esports doing a wonderful job. But from the distance, there it is, the finish. My Nation Esports taking an exit from this match down to 11 teams, and I believe JyanMaara, they are going to fall on as well as Gunner has to take it down. Can't ignore all the players of YM. Replay is taken out, just the last player surviving, and it is going to be quite interesting to see if JyanMaara again will be walking away with a squad wipe or not. In the meanwhile, the Blues will be closing in, so they're going to disengage and try and see if they can get themselves in a position from where they can proceed to the late game stages of the match. In the meanwhile, DE GANGSTERS Wadu is going to be taken down by the players of Corps 2 RGR Esports, taking an exit from this match. So, absolute pandemonium, chaos going in this game. We're down to 9 teams in an instant and 16 players surviving. Make that 8.
Oh no, JyanMaara, they got eliminated at the 10th position. Team Cops also goes down by at the 9th position. They just secured only one single kill point. Leader stepping up, taking down the players of Cops. Now we have only 14 players alive in this Sanhok map. 14 players. So yeah, teams are again, just relying on those individuals. Look at that. Sane, he's on 75% HP. Lollipop, he's on just 10% HP, and both the players present in the waterline.
Well, let's see. Lollipop from Hoody Esports and Sane from the side of Red Esports just having some competition among themselves, but both the lads are outside the circle, and I believe they are going to get finished off as AsOne Unity. Saitama has spotted Sane out. To wait for him to reveal himself again, but they need to be careful as well as the player from Leader was in fact holding a high ground. And finally, Sane is going to get finished off. Saitama getting the kill. Red Esports taking an exit down to 4 teams, 9 players alive in this matchup, and it is going to be quite interesting to see what the final few moments of this match are going to look like as AsOne Unity, DE GANGSTERS, along with the players of Leader and Hype, actually find themselves inside the top 4. Zivan Crazy is also a part of this top 4, which is quite interesting because, I expected him to get taken out quite a while earlier.
Yeah, but look at that. Zivan Crazy.
There it is.
Still no. Oh, finally, Team Hype take an exit at the 44th position, but kudos to Zivan Crazy. He was surviving till the end. But now it just all comes down to these 3 teams. So Leader is there, AS1 is there, as well as TJ. Rainbow on the other side just gonna lob one random grenade, and it's not gonna work out in your favor. But I think so, Johnny. He just have to, he just have to save that one grenade till the end. It might possible that you're gonna take down some of your opponent by using that one single frag grenade.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to try and see if he can find at least one knock, but the nades are going to be traded, and Pyog is definitely going to take a lot of damage, but although he does find an opening as Mr. Panda has been taken down, let's see, another utility could be tossed in the same position, and the knock can be converted into a kill, but now this time it is going to be Zorax tossing the nade on the other side of the building. This one is definitely going to miss its marker by quite a lot, but Sengbo, he repositions himself to try and see if he can go for a direct fight. In the meanwhile, Xyrox in an interesting position has the players of DE GANGSTERS in the back lines, and he has switched over to the Vector as well. So let's see. It is going to be a 1v2 that he's going to have to come out on top of.
Saitama on the other side, he is moving inside the circle, crawling in the circle, but if he's just going to move in towards that one particular area, then he might end up against the players of TJ. But the important part is Saitama has that QBC in his hand. He secured 2 kills, but GANGSTER so close to Zorax, and yup, GANGSTER goes down. That Vector is so perfect because of the fighting great, but again, this Zorax just end up just playing from that one person gangster with his M41. So but Singbo goes down. It is now down to 1v2, and yup, match has ended. And I think so. I have high expectations from Zorax that he might clutch it up, but no, that's not the case. AsOne Unity, they secured the second dinner.
I mean, definitely a one they deserved as well, because they did so well for themselves, starting from the boot camp situation where they were the ones to find the opening on the players of 5, to moving in, taking control of Shaq so early on in the game, and then the final fight. AsOne Unity, they've been trying for the last 2 matches, but in the third one, they finally secured 8 kills, 23 points, 1,077 damage, and an overall rank top 6. But I want to see how many points does AsOne Unity actually have in total, because that is going to decide if whether when they come back tomorrow they're going to be under pressure or not.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to decide a lot of stuff. But how many points does other team secured? But leader, obviously, Zorax, he is going to be the MVP. He secured 4 kills, 705 damage. Again, 0 assists. Again, relying on his individual skills. And healing done is 278. And survival's time is 22 minutes, 33 seconds. And again, it was so important for him that he has to survive till the end. Now, the final fight, it was 1v2, and Zorax, he just brought down to the 30% HP, so that was an easy task for the players of AsOne Esports to secure a second dinner. But again, JyanMaara, they got eliminated at the 10th position, and I think so. They have a comfortable lead, and they're going to remain at the first position.
I agree with that. I mean, JyanMaara were in a really comfortable position. There is absolutely no way anyone dethrones them in this match. It's going to take at least till tomorrow before someone actually rises up to the challenge. But looking at the top players from this match, we have Zorax, followed by blah 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 from BE GANGSTERS with 4 kills to his name, 339 damage, and survival time of 23 minutes and 9 seconds. Mr. Panda is going to be on the third with 3 kills, Snipe YT on the fourth, and Saitama, the one-punch man from AsOne Unity, is going to be on the fifth. 3 kills, 402 damage, and 23 minutes and 14 seconds survival time. The most interesting name right now in this list, it has to be Snipe, because he's the only one with a survival time under 20 minutes.
Yeah, but let's talk about the match summary. And now, this time, the longest distance kill is only 228 meters. Blah 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 has the highest kill. Zorax dished out the highest amount of damage. Only 10 utilities. The mark is only 10 most used in this particular match, and this is inside of Mr. Stark Dominic with the maximum assist, that is 3.
Well, I mean, the game has been really interesting to watch, but looking at the point differences, there's not too much of a difference between the teams. AsOne Unity walking away with 23 points, leaders ES 19, the GANGSTERS 45 to 10. So there's a gradual drop. But look at this. So the kills were quite nicely distributed between anyone, even Xtreme Outlaws and JyanMaara. Teams that took exit quite earlier on in the game were able to get 5 and 4 kills for themselves.
But I'm quite happy with the performance of Xtreme Outlaws. At least they are securing some amount of kills. They are being consistent. They secured 5 kills from this particular match. So as the players of Nation Esports and Hoody Esports. But SOLTI scored a bad outing from the side of this particular team, and we can say the same thing for Ops, because both the teams have secured only 2 total points from this Sanhok map.
Well, let's see. I mean, it's going to be quite interesting to see. In fact, we'll have the moments of the F19 moments of the game, and then after this, we're going to be watching the overall standings and see what impact this Sanhok map is going to have on the overall. In fact, I was quite surprised with how my nation actually approached this matchup, because at one point it felt like we were going to see them in a lot of fights, but then the timing of those fights was really weird, and the team was getting punished because of that, and then the exit on the 12th.
Again, Johnny, like we just talk about this thing again and again, that my nation always always have that upper advantage in those early fights, but they struggle in those final stages. But after this, Zorak received a lot of damage. Blah blah blah. He was the damage was enough from his side. He was using that M249, but again, in the end, it was AS1. But if we talk about the overall ranking, JyanMaara still on the top, but Leader Esports just 5 points far away from that first position. If they're going to secure 6 points more than JyanMaara, then they will be on the top.
You know what the best part is? The best part in these standings are that neither of the teams that have gotten chicken dinners are in the top four. You have two RGRs sitting on the 5th, AsOne Unity on the 6th, and Hoody Esports on the 7th position. So this just goes to showcase what consistency these other four squads have been bringing in to the table. Even though there's not a major impact of the performances, but still, I mean, JyanMaara and Leaders ES, they have been doing a pretty incredible job. Hype as well, sitting on 33 points, and the GANGSTERS have been pretty decent enough to bring 29 points for themselves. On the other side, even with 1-1 chicken dinner each, the other squads are still on 6th and 7th. But with one last game to go, maybe everything can change. Maybe one of these teams is going to bring themselves back in the top 3, and then in the overall, we're going to see them up probably to the somewhere close to the top 3, top 4.
No. Let's see what's going to happen in the first stage of the match. Now, we have only one game left for the day, and it is going to be the Erangel map. But again, teams like Team Huddle, Frozen Phoenix, they have to step up, because Frozen Phoenix again at the bottom with only one total for Team Huddle at the 15th position with only 3 points. So they are literally struggling. I think so. The only option which might gonna help them just play on the edge of the zone, because my nation, this team is always gonna focus on this type of strategy, because if they are in a hot drop, if they are doing a hot drop, they just went for a fight. They are up against. They're just focusing on on that particular fight, and every single time they won that.
Well, but let's see what is going to happen in the last match. But before the last game of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very short break. So just stay tuned, keep watching. We'll be right back after this.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2021 Nepal Region, brought to you by the UPF 19 Pro. Woke up your fun with the UPF 19 Pro. This is Super Johnny, joined by Felix and Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for the last game of the day. One last Erangel for day number one of the group stages. But I mean, the matches have been so intense. Multiple teams lifting up the chicken dinners, but the teams with the chicken dinners are failing to enter the top four of the overall leaderboard. What is going to happen in this last game? Only time will tell. But once again, these three squads have the opportunity to gain a really, really strong boost in the momentum for themselves. Let's see how this last match is going to go.
Hoody Esports 2 RGR AsOne Esports. These are the three teams who secured chicken dinner for the day, who secured at least one chicken dinner for themselves. Now, as just Johnny mentioned, this is going to be the final match for the day, and the teams from the group A and group B, they will be completing their four matches. The important part is we saw a very, very interesting zone in the first Erangel, and I expect the same.
I mean, Erangels have been interesting throughout the day, so I agree with you. I mean, we're going to expect the same sort of a finish to this game as well. But talking about the key trajectory of the play, it is live. It is starting from the western edge of the map and going all the way towards Talbot-Kameshki. So any squad that, any of the teams that do like to go towards the southern side of the map, talking about JyanMaara and Cops right now, they're going to be in a world of trouble. But JyanMaara, we've seen them sort of go for those op drops towards Talbot-Kameshki as well. So I want to see if that is something that the team is going to try and do. On the other side, though, it's not just going to be JyanMaara. DE GANGSTERS are also doing really well for themselves. It will be quite interesting to see what the team will be able to accomplish in this game.
Yup, and you know what? Teams like 2RGR, Team Hype, these two teams have some of the best players from the region, and now they are showcasing the same thing. But I think so after this play past SOLTI, they are again quite happy with this because their drop location is Pochinki, and we all know it's the heart of Pochinki, and you'll find some good loot out there. But on the western side of the map, or we can say towards the southwestern side of the map, we can see two teams: is Frozen Phoenix and YM. So these two teams are up against each other, so close to each other, but the zone is so far away from them.
Well, the zone is definitely going to be far away, and it'll be quite interesting to see how the rotations are going to be made. Because now Frozen Phoenix, look at them, 2,400 meters to get inside the circle, and it starts just there with the squad of YM as well. Akshat, he is going to, well, right now he's just hiding because he knows he is the footsteps of the lads right next to him. And there's definitely some amount of fear instilled in his veins at this point. Just holding on, keeping an eye through the door, through the window as well, using the PPP, trying to see if he can spot anyone out running around on the top. So he's just being patient. As for the rest of the players of Frozen Phoenix, we do see them, well, a little bit of a pinkish color in the distance closing in from the south, and that was Nitro. And an instant punish coming in from Manny, who has managed to find an opening and will, in fact, just straight up go for the finish.
Again, we saw this from the last three matches. We witnessed the same thing from the last three matches. And YM, they just end up in those early fights, and they always secure at least 1 to 2 kill points in those early skirmishes. Now, this time the team is different. Their opponents are different, and they already secured one crucial kill from the start of the match. They are 2,500 meters far away from the safe zone. It's massive, Johnny. But now they're closing in the distance, and they heard those sound cues of that one player, Akshat, running for his life. He has a star L, so you have to be careful. But one player just putting one grenade, L, the switch on to his Uzi, he goes down. But at the end, the backfire from the side of you get out, it was enough to save their teammates. Now, the reward is going to be there. So, as the finish, YM secure 2 kills. Up to 1 minute, the zone will start closing in, but they have to find a vehicle.
Well, let's see. They will definitely be forced to fight for vehicles for themselves, but talking about this team, Frozen Phoenix, 2 players down. YY and Nay7 are still going to be the lads remaining, but the players from the side of WM, maybe the players are going to try and close in on those positions and see if they can pick these two individuals off as well. Plus, there are two of the players from the side of the RGR as well in the nearby vicinity. But over on the other side, I mean, with the circle moving towards the northeastern side, I would love to see it actually just keep moving northeast and end up on the Stalber Hills. I mean, that is definitely going to be a wonderful fight. Uh, it almost went there in game number one, just ended outside towards well, a little bit off, but it is going to be really interesting to see if even in this game we do actually if I get to see a finish towards that direction. But JyanMaara, in the meanwhile, look at Nerf here, quite close to the players of XO.
Yeah, but you know what? Just because of his name, we always think that he is going to secure some kills because he has literally no fear. He always on that, just always went for the scouting, and he always collect a lot of information from that type of rotations. But the important part is Frozen Phoenix. This team has only one total point in their backpack and they lost 2 players. They have to move inside circle and they are doing the same thing. But leader, this particular team who are at the second position, just 5 points far behind from JyanMaara, they are at the military bridge camp and they spots down the players of 2 RGR, which the players are moving away. They are disengaging and they are just moving inside the circle. Now, again, Battalion 5 is just we just want to mention another team, and that is Battalion 5. This 2+2 split. 2 players are still in the Zaki, and 2 players just very close to that sovereignty area. So this is a nice strategy. If 2 players they are inside the circle, they have good control of some compounds which are inside the safe zone, then the other 2 players will start moving in, and they can secure some good position as well as they just stay on the safer side.
Well, they're going to try and be on the safer side, but let's see if they're going to be successful in doing so for a long time. In the meanwhile, JyanMaara just trying to see if they can regroup to the delegate stages and then just go on doing what they're best at, just getting those kills for themselves, getting kills and taking names. That's what they like to do inside the game as well. But over on the other side, Nation Esports towards the Water City. So this is where I actually do expect most of the fights to begin, since there is a cluster of the teams on in the central part of the map, who goes off Water City, School, all those positions. And there is a high probability of teams actually catching each other, or well, not catching each other, but intersecting each other's paths and just going into an all-out war in that position. Those locations are well right now inside the circle.
Yeah, and as you just mentioned that all-out war is we are literally waiting for that. But Gangster, this team is also going to be inside the circle. Team Cops, this team is so good. I love their play style and I love their approach whenever they engage in a fight. But right now, they are in the first place of the leaderboard, I think, so, and they are doing pretty decent. The players are just spread around near the farm area and they are having a good time right now. The players from Red Esports have a good control of the school apartments, and they are still looting, still collecting a lot of loot. Rook, he has an M16, and we all know M16 is a burst gun, but this engagement, this fight, Frozen Phoenix again spots down the players of YM and they are being silent. That's their priority, Charlie. Because no, look at that. Why am I spots down one player, and this could be the death trap for YM?
Well, they have to be silent. I mean, as you mentioned about Frozen Phoenix, and because of that, they have managed to catch one of the players off guard and get the finish as well, with Nay7 securing a kill. But now YM, they know that there is someone chasing them in the blue zone right now. But there's still 1700 meters distance that they have to cover over the other side. DE GANGSTERS, blah blah blah, catching one of the lads from the side of My Nation Esports off guard, and it is going to be Xyrox who has been knocked out, and now blah 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 trying to go for a finish as well. Will in fact get this quite easily, but what about the rest of the lads from the side of My Nation Esports? They have just completely abandoned, given up on their own teammate, and just gone on their own rotation.
Oh no. Never expected this, but blah blah blah. Just making sure that he's just gonna burn down that knocked out player. Now, Hype, in fact, Team Hype, this is the team who are up against the players in Frozen Phoenix, and that one single player from the side of Hype knocked out, in fact, finished YY from the lobby. So, Frozen Phoenix never expected this, but if you're rotating inside the circle, you have to face these type of challenges. Now, if I'm talking about challenges, look at that. A cluster of team present on the western side of the circle, and circle also moved towards the same area. Johnny, I think so. We might witness the same circle we witnessed in the first Erangel.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be a similar shift in the same position, but let's see. The teams are definitely looking to perform differently, though, even if it's the circle is heading in the same direction. The gangsters this time, learning from the past experience, have taken quite early control of the compounds for themselves. On the other side, Hoody Esports in a troublesome situation. Frozen Phoenix, some things never changed, though. Even the last match, they had to go for an early exit this time as well, taking an exit earlier on. But let's see. Esports, Lollipop getting out of position. Wadu is going to miss out on the opportunity to spray him down.
Wadu missed his opportunity, but the Yancers have to kills onto their name, so they're kind of happy with that. But now, teams like we saw My Nation, they are just being silent till now, but that's not okay. I just not talking about they are being silent, but look at that. Cedar just secured one kill instantly, and now they have a good control of this particular compound, which is inside the circle. The gangster on this, they are just pretty present in the same vicinity, but the distance is quite a lot. Red Esports, their kill department is still zero, but they are just being patient. They are still respecting the zone, and this is the best plan we can work on it right now.
Well, it is definitely going to be a plan. Let's see if it is going to be a successful one or not. In the meanwhile, Brook is going to try and see if he can protect his position inside this sniper tower, but it's going to be really intense. I mean, they are completely isolated, so it, it's not going to be that difficult for them to just avoid any sort of conflict. The trouble is going to arise once they start moving inside the circle from here on out. All right, so leaders are approaching this position, and Brook, I believe, has already, in fact, spotted out a few players, the vehicles getting to position, and will, in fact, just relay all this information to his team.
Brook inside the watchtower, and you just mentioned just giving a lot of information to his team. Switch to an M762 now. M762 is a beast gun in close range, but in mid-range fights, if you want to control that recall, it's going to be like kind of impossible. Today, he is using a Mini 14 with a 8 times, and we saw that he dished out a lot of damage on top of the players of leaders and Django. Look at that. First, second, I think so. Airdrop is coming in, and we love that animation now. Brook again inside that watchtower. Both the teams are just going to respect each other because both the teams are inside the circle, and another team, and that is SOLTI Squad joining the fray.
Well, SOLTI Squad is going to try and see if they can join this party, but it's not going to be an easy entrance into this situation. Red Esports definitely have a good amount of cover for themselves, and they should be in a position from where they can actually hold on to this compound and just hold on or hold off any sort of pressure that comes their way. But let's see. It's going to be quite interesting to see how the teams are going to move forward, and the circle just moving towards the side of Severity. Another curveball coming in inside this match. Look at Corps. They're just closing in from the backlines right now, and 2RG are all going to be towards the east. But the team is moving up north, so there's not going to be any collision toward outside the circle. So let's see.
Let's see what's going to happen. But Hype, they are inside the circle. They have good control of the compounds of Severny out. Now, JyanMaara, they are engaging in a fight while inside the circle. We saw that Susan was fighting bullets, but no, just stop now. We have the beast gun inside the airdrop. You will find a tactical stock and a level 2 kit with an MK14. My Nation Esports, they are up against the team which is Exo. Now, Zero on the other side knocks down one there. That move is amazing. They knocks down one, knocks down another. It's a 1v3 against Exo.
Well, 1-3 situation, but let's see. XO Comet just closing in from the backlines is going to get one more well. One more kill secured for his team. Someone needs to heal up as soon as possible since there's one more player from the side of My Nation that's just holding on to the back lines and might just close in at any given time. Uh, it is going to be quite interesting what Tuxedo is going to be able to pull off over here. The nade being tossed. It looks it's going to be perfect, but no, just overshot by a little bit. And Comet is still going to survive. He runs through the smoke on the other side of the factory. And now Tuxedo is going to be left guessing where his opponent will be at this point of time. The utility is going to be tossed out just to keep Tuxedo away for a little bit. But in the meanwhile, Team Huddle taking an exit on the 15th position, now to 14 teams, 47 players alive. And it's also the 14-minute marker of the game. JyanMaara just going for a squad wipe right there.
Yep, and JyanMaara, they are the reason why Team Huddle, they got eliminated at the position. But look at that, Hoody Esports stepping up. They are just fighting. They are just up against the players of Red Esports, and they knocked out two players. The kill confirmation is happening yet here, but still, Comet versus Tuxedo. It's a fight between these two players. Comet, he literally committed a lot of utility. And look at that, no grenade, so that he can block out the vision of Tuxedo. But Tuxedo, he is hiding behind the boxes, but he is in an open area. This is not a good choice, but still, he is still surviving. And he's the last hope for his team. That's the same thing for PMCO.
Well, let's see. I mean, it's not just EXO, NYM, EXO, both the last players, their squads, and both of them quite close to each other right now. It's going to be quite interesting to see if these lads are going to be part of this game for a long while. Uso closing in, and that is also something that is going to put a lot of pressure on everyone right now. But these two players inside the circle, so no incentive for them to actually fight it out. In the meanwhile, Hoodie closing in from the southeastern edge of the map. AsOne Unity already entering the circle from the east side, and JyanMaara moving in from the northeastern point. Will be looking for covers. All these teams will be looking for those
wow.
dropouts, but Comet just barely avoiding death for, I believe, that was 2 seconds he stayed alive extra, and now he has been finished off. Tuxedo is going to be next, as AsOne Unity, they run towards him, take down one, but that's going to be it. One single knock, and first it was EXO, then it was My Nation. 2 more squads taking an exit, but AsOne Unity, along with those kills, have actually gained something that was more important. That was the cover of the factory.
Ryu on the other side, watch down the players of JyanMaara. This could be a decent, this could be the chance to eliminate one team which is, performing so well. But now Zod as well as Ryu still holding that particular angle. DG stepping up against the fight, up against the team which is YM. Now Wadu spots out another player, knocks him down, and this end for YM. Novi on the other side, spots down one player, just a lot of damage on top of Ryu as well. But look at that, they have to be careful from the back lines because Leader is there. One player from the side of Leader, he's there for the backstab.
Oh, he's going to be there for the backstab, but whoa! Red Esports just getting destroyed by the players of Hype. 3 kills secured by these lads, but now they want to take on the players of JyanMaara, who are in fact just doing a wonderful job, just taking on 2 fights at the same time. They have taken on the players of Leaders as well and have gotten those finishes, and now they want to fight Hype at the same time. JyanMaara is playing a completely different game at this point, and it's going to take something extraordinary to stop this team. So look at this, Leader Esports taking an exit as GURKHaxBATTALION 5 are closing in from the backlines, and along with them towards JyanMaara, the squad of R2GR, they're heading towards these lads. Have to be extremely careful because right now JyanMaara is looking absolutely really scary.
JyanMaara is just making sure that every single angle is being covered. But look at that, Gunner. He's not stopping. He just want to collect a lot of information, jumping from every single angle, looking out for every single angle, as well as checking out those backlines. That's the best thing. Hype still holding those compartments. The 4th circle is closing in. Snipe Whitey popping out another smoke so that he can block out the vision from the sidelines, as well as make an extra cover. But Susan, he was not that lucky because he go down, and now this is the chance for 2RGR to rush in, but no, they're still waiting. Hell, look at that! He literally blocked out the entry of this particular area for this particular, we can say, bunker. Now, hell, the players from YM, Hell and Manny, they are gonna survive for a little bit more long. But if the zone just move far away from them, then this is the end game for them.
Well, this is definitely going to be in-game scenario as you said, the zone moves away from them, and I believe the probability of that happening is quite high. But how far away is the zone going to be? That is a big question. 100 meters, well, not 100 meters, I believe. 100 meters would have been doable, but more than that, it would have been a troublesome situation. But hey, wow. So the gods of PUBG are definitely quite happy with YM at this point. The circle is actually just barely on top of them. And it has completely abandoned the teams that were present towards the side of Severny. But this actually plays out in the favor of JyanMaara, who are just looking to get those kills. Now, everyone that was holding their position in Severny will have to cross JyanMaara, and they're going to use this opportunity to do exactly this, secure more kill points.
Look at that snipe Whitey. He's on the domination with your 3 kills. He received a lot of damage from the sidelines, but still he's on the safer side now. Battalion 5 from a different angle pinned down the players who are rotating inside the circle, who just want to do an early rotation. They got punished, and if you're talking about punish, Crazen, he was overexposing himself while throwing a grenade, and that's why he got knocked out. AS1 up against this particular team. And this is again the same scenario. AsOne, they are again inside the circle. They have a control of a good compound, and they are again taking down some of the players. But DG stepping up, taking down the players of Hoody, and we can see that this fight is being more interesting because these are not the only teams which are fighting against Hoody. In fact, 3 teams are fighting against this particular team, and that's why Hoody Esports take an exit at the 10th position.
Well, the unfortunate exit right there, but still 9 keep surviving, and JyanMaara looks like they're going to be in some trouble as the Gangster is the one taking shots towards the squad that's stuck out in the open, and through the open field is putting up a lot of pressure on towards this team that has been phenomenal throughout the day, but JyanMaara is still not looking to stop. They're still picking fights. So Jan finally being taken out by GANGSTERS. He's going to look to finish them off. Battalion 5 putting up a lot of pressure on the players into RGR. And finally, with the blow up coming there, the vehicle being blown up, Japan is going to look to see if he can find a few more openings. In fact, some more the kills that are just lying out in the open.
Yeah, with that smoke grenade, those smokes are just literally providing a lot of cover to the players of 2RGR. But Battalion 5 literally trying to level best from a different angle. Gunner goes down. Battalion 5 Sagun switch to his AK, just again firing some random bullets, and yeah, he just have a lot of damage on top of the players of Fox. But still, both the players are just staying down. One player got knocked out, and one player just going to revive his teammate. But Hype stepping up, taking it to revenge. They are up for the revenge, taking some fights up against the team of JyanMaara. Snipe Whitey goes down, but Battalion 5, they have to be careful from the sidelines because Hypes is also moving inside the circle, as well as AsOne Esports. They're holding that one particular compound which is just present in front of them.
Well, but let's see. I mean, it's going to be quite interesting to see what the approach of the team is going to look like. In the meanwhile, majority of the teams are just trying to see if they can survive out in the open, and what the safest point of time for them is going to be where they're going to be allowed to move inside the circle. For 2RGR, that time, I mean, right now the answer is going to be never. They're just going to have to hold on to that position, just see if they can keep reviving themselves and just keep moving forward that way to stay alive for as long as possible. But there's a lot of pressure up on that team at this point.
They've been just firing some random shots and just continuing that one tap spray on top of that one particular team who's just hiding behind the smokes. But Battalion 5, the zone is favoring them, but the number advantage, the man advantage is in their favor. SOLTI squad, he's just closing in, and he just slammed his buggy inside that one particular compound. Sagun's just going to lob that one grenade on the ground floor, but I don't think so that you're going to find that one particular opening. He's just rushing in towards that one particular room. Spots on Prati, but no! Didn't know that he was.
Well, just barely missing out on his opponent's position, and now he finds himself outnumbered in that two-story house with the players of the SOLTI squad holding on to the ground floor. Saran managing to move towards the first floor. Battalion 5, they were under a lot of pressure and now have been finally eliminated as GANGSTERS did in fact close in from the backlines. but JyanMaara, Suzanne getting 3 kills, domination going for the lad. In the meanwhile, Hype have been eliminated from this game as well. And Battalion 5, all right, but Chagan is the last player surviving for the team. 2RGR taking an exit on the 10th position. And I believe it is a wonderful position for the players of JyanMaara for a little bit, because now they do find themselves the ones that are isolated, left behind, while AsOne Unity and the squad of DE Gangsters, Battalion 5, all these teams are just huddled up towards the eastern side of the circle. They will have to fight each other out before they try and come out in the open. DE Gangsters, Wadu, and blah 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 already been taken out. Now Gangster and Saga, they're going to be under a lot of pressure, while all the 4 players of the side of SOLTI squad, they are just looking to see if they can finish Sagar. The Battalion 5 just spraying randomly inside the smoke, and finally, as the players from SOLTI squad charge towards the first floor, they do find the finish, and now they do have, in fact, control of the entire two-story for themselves.
Yeah, but
But
that
oh,
grenade!
grenade.
Look at that. Saga knocked out Jordan on the side of Salty, scored another grenade, but that was not enough to finish him off. Now they are just slowly, steadily moving in, closing in the distance. But listen, his position is awesome throughout the position of Rusty, but he's just out in an open area up against the fight. But his spray takes down 2 players in single spray. Dip or Dolph on the other side just there to finish things off, and now Pratik Salty on a domination. But look at that! I thought that this is going to be their game, but no, DG got eliminated at the 4th position.
Well, JyanMaara is still here, and SOLTI squad as well. 4 teams with all 4 players as one unity. They have been reduced to 2-man roster. Snipe is going to heal up Sudan as well, and Gunner as well. After these 3 lads have healed up, JyanMaara, they're going to look to re-engage. But meanwhile, Pratik with a nade can actually go out near Fear. The nades are going to be traded, and No Fear falls down, but Pratik falls down as well. The grenade trade between the players of SOLTI and JyanMaara. No Fear is going to be finished off. Nemesis being taken down. Snipe is going to be really low. Jordan going for the finish, but he's not going to find anything as Snipe falls behind the cover. And now Nemesis, with him being knocked out, JyanMaara, they need to flank from the back, as well as the players of AsOne Unity are closing in from the rear. And this is the opening that they were waiting for. Mr. Panda with the scar in his hands. Now it's to go for a reload. Nana is covered out, taking a lot of damage from the backlines as well, but does manage to get himself to safety for a few seconds. But Mr. Panda, he does find the opening. Nana has to take it down. And now JyanMaara are in a world of trouble with 2 individuals taken out off the pitches. Snipe Whitey is still pretty low. The players of SOLTI squad, this is going to be their game, and the opportunity has been given to them by the players of AsOne Unity, who are just holding on to the sidelines. But SOLTI squad, they've slowed things down. Pratik is super low. Nemesis is low as well. Mr. Panda, he drives in, stabs in, has to finish off Doll before he goes to fight against the rest of the players. But Pratik, he's charging in towards Mr. Panda. Pratik is going to be taken down barely 20 HP again. Dolph is going to be down to around 20 HP for the second time in a row. And Mr. Panda all of a sudden find himself in a clutchable situation. If he takes down Pratik, then he can finish off the players of SOLTI squad as well. And yes, SOLTI squad, they do get finished off. In fact, now it's Snipe and Suzanne, the players of JyanMaara, in a massive advantage. 3 versus 2 situation. But Gunner is going to be taken down. All right, Suzanne and Snipe, 2 versus 2. Mr. Panda, he's being smart. To heal up, Akash is going to be down to 50, but Snipe, he's being too over-aggressive. This is out the damage. Panda is going to be low, but Snipe is going to be shut down. Finally, Gunner gets finished off. Suzanne in a 1 versus 2 situation. Panda still has the first hits on him. Suzanne needs to go for the fight right now at this very moment. Otherwise, this is it. AsOne Unity, they will have stolen 1 more chicken dinner. And yes, in fact, they do it. In the end, AsOne Unity, they walk away with the chicken dinner, taking things away from both SOLTI squad and JyanMaara. The 2-man squad walking away with the chicken dinner and bringing themselves to the top 2. This is their second chicken dinner, by the way.
And again, they were surviving with the 2-man lineup in the finals, right? In the final circle, Johnny. This was the case in the Sanhok map, and we just witnessed the same thing in the Erangel map. 12 kills onto their name. Their overall ranking is second. Oh my goodness. Finally, one other team stepping up, and AsOne Unity amazing gameplay.
Well, it was an impressive gameplay put on display by the players of AsOne Unity, but it's going to be quite interesting to see what, in fact, the overall standings are going to look like for the rest of the squads. But we do have the MVP game, and it's going to be sniped from the side of JyanMaara. 6 kills, 1038 damage, survival time of 25 minutes 23 seconds, 2 assists, and 449 healing done. Quite an impressive performance, but towards the end, I believe he just ran out of first aid right there. Otherwise, it was quite critical to heal up and then re-engage. He ran into that fight with around 40 HP.
You know what? You just literally mentioned this thing. At that moment, funny. He was just brought down to only 30% HP. He was like, I just want to heal myself up. Then I'm gonna engage in a fight, and that's why he just won that 1v1 duel, and that just lead them to a second dinner. But I just want to look out the match summary. How many utilities being used in the final circle? Because we saw that the players from the side of SOLTI squad, they were using a lot of frag grenades. But let's talk about the top players. AsOne Unity, Akash and Pada are there with 5 kills onto their name. Respectively, Dolph is also going to enjoy the fray with 2 kills onto their name. But look at the damage, 853 damage dished out by this particular, this single lad.
Well, what a wonderful performance right there. But look at the match summary. Snipe is still going to be the man with the highest skills and the highest damage in that game. No Peter with the most utilities. And Jordan and Dolph, SOLTI squad representing their squads with maximum assist and the longest distance skill. But still, I mean, I have to say, both these teams had the opportunity to secure the chicken dinner had they just not over-aggressed on each other. Especially JyanMaara, I mean, they knew that AsOne Unity was in the backlines because, few shots were fired towards one of their lads, but they still just completely focused themselves on SOLTI squad. Had they re-engaged with the players of AsOne Unity, maybe they could have just finished them on a little bit earlier and just SOLTI squad was already bleeding out. Up over there and just walk away with the chicken.
Yeah. But that's not the case. But you know what? The fight between the GANGSTERS and SOLTI squad, it was so intense, and it just all comes down to who's just gonna use that cheeky strat. But Team Cops again being consistent, they are at the 6th position with total 7 points onto their name. While Esports and Hoody Esports and these two teams have same amount of total points, which is the Xtreme Outlaws, Frozen Phoenix finally securing 1 total point onto their name. But Leader Esports, they were at the 2nd position before this match. They had some great outings. They were being consistent. But for this Erangel match, that's not the case.
Well, I agree. For this one, that is not going to be the case. But talking about the game, I mean, the game itself was quite interesting because, I mean, starting things off from the fights on the southwestern part of the map and going all the way towards those open locations, I mean, things definitely came into perspective for a lot of teams. And one of the things that we talked about earlier on in the season, timing those fights perfectly was something that was quite critical in a lot of stages of the match. I mean, if you overcommitted towards the end, that was it. I mean, that is the entire reason for football. And JyanMaara are not sitting here with the chicken dinner. And, well, so did Battalion 5 as well. In fact, they overcommitted a little too much to just controlling the house. And had they just tried to go for a single building not being split up among themselves, things would have been a little better for them. And then again, I mean, it was a wonderful game, though.
It certainly was a wonderful game, Johnny. But that's how you're gonna, end up the day. But JyanMaara, they are prepared for every single fight, despite the fact they lost the second dinner. But still, they just finished at the 2nd position, and they were so consistent throughout every single match. But after this final, frag grenade, Susan wasn't able to do much, and he got killed. But important part is JyanMaara still at the top with 76 total point, and the lead is quite a lot.
Well, the lead is definitely quite a lot, 22 points in fact, between JyanMaara Esports and AsOne Unity. But still, AsOne Unity, as I said, just the fact that they got 2 chicken dinners for themselves in 4 matches, so that is 50% win ratio for this team, does actually put themselves in a really wonderful position. But they have to be consistent. I mean, even if they mess up 2 games a day, like if they go out with 0 points, as long as they're getting those 2 different dinners with 15 points, placement points just coming in from those matches, it's all good. If they can keep this consistent, I mean, it works out for this team. Over on the other side, Leader Esports definitely taking a dropping down on the 13th 49 points to their name. And I have to say, if we are going to talk about the prizes, this prize is definitely going to be on the next page with teams like SOLTI squad being present outside of the top 8, and Comp just barely being well in a decent position from where they can actually contest the top 8 as well. So it is going to be quite interesting for squad on 9. Cops 11th with 17 points. So these teams, we know these teams are capable of getting those 20-point matches quite consistently, but they have to start performing. 4 matches are done, 1/3 of the games are over for the group stages, just like that.
Now let's talk about the kill leaders from the last 4 matches. No Fears on the top with 18 kills and they dished out 2,316 damage. Ryu is on the second position with 13 kills and approx 2,000 damage in his favor too. Suzanne is on the third position with 10 kills and 1870 in his favor. Blaha on the fourth position from the side. GANGSTERS secured 10 kills and they dished out 371 damage. But Snipe Whitey, look at that. 9 kills, but he dished out 2,026 damage, and his average survival time is quite less. So we're gonna compare from the other 4 lads, but still, he was the person who got eliminated in the first Erangel match. But still,
Yeah.
despite of that fact, JyanMaara literally annihilated the whole lobby and
I mean,
secured 18 kills from a
that's
single match.
Yeah, that's the only reason Snipe is there with 18 minutes survival time, because
Yeah.
I believe he took an exit within the first 4 minutes of the first angle, and after that he has been quite consistent in the next 3 matches in terms of kills, in terms of survival time. But I mean, talking about that very first game, No Fear walked away with what, like 7 or 8 kills in that match itself. So that is 50% of his kills right there, and it was an incredible performance from him. But JyanMaara, I mean, they're gonna come back, I believe, day after tomorrow, and step into the matches once again. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this group fares up against the next group that they're going to face. Otherwise, I mean, it was quite a wonderful day. Again, the insanity on Erangel was really fun to watch, and things are just getting started. Today was just day 1. Teams from Group A and B going at it against each other. Tomorrow is going to be more interesting because, again, tomorrow we have a few more big names that are going to be
Yeah.
stepping into the battleground, and it is going to be Group C and D. But
Yes.
until then, ladies and gentlemen, the matches for this day are done. This is Super Johnny, joined in by Phoenix Sivansh. We're going to call it a night. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you guys again tomorrow. Bye.
Here we go now.